homo,
Man, bruh,
nigga.
he
Diddy, bully
he's a super
homo,
bully.
yo.
You know how much of a bully homo Diddy is? Y'all saw that old ass interview. He's sitting on the couch next to Mike Tyson and started touching Mike's thigh. Bruh. Bruh.
What if Mike straight hooked him, yo? I would have been like, damn, this nigga jaw broke right on TV.
I'm like, Mike must have been like having a good day that day because he really could have. But Mike did that shit smooth. I was like, man, we don't give Mike Tyson enough credit, bro, for all the times that he didn't go off. I'm like, of all the times he played that shit smooth, nobody would have been mad at him. Like, and it would have aged very well. That clip would have aged incredibly well, like fine wine. Remember when? See, Mike tried to tell us, man. When Mike knocked that nigga out, everybody was mad at first, but now look, Mike looked like Negro Domus. He knew something was off, and he knocked Diddy the fuck out. But nah, man, like Diddy, we the stuff that we kept noticing and we kept watching him closer and closer. Or that Kevin Hart clip, that was funny. The Kevin Hart and Usher clip, that was probably the funniest one. Oh my god, that because they edited it for TV, but there's a longer YouTube version. I didn't know Diddy had a straight up interview. I think it was BT or MTV or VH1, and he had a straight like dildo on the bed. Like he had a dildo on the bed, man, and like he was acting normal and shit. And Kevin Hart's comedic energy came out. He saw the dildo and just busted out into laughing, and almost was in tears and shit. He was trying to get an interview. Nigga Kevin Hart is in almost tears because the dildo's on the bed. And then I forget who moved it, but Usher and Diddy was acting like the shit was normal, and I was like, bro, why are you in your hotel room and there's a dildo laying on the bed like a woman's toy is on the bed and you a dude? This is your room. Why is it out there like that, bro? And you natural about it. That was weird.
Are you using the same dildo on multiple women? I
That
mean, what's going on here?
all this shit was blowing up. All this shit was blowing up, and I'm like, yeah. And that and the stage is set for people to believe almost anything. And of course, that Cassie clip, man, that's the worst of all because it's like the Cassie clip, the Cassie clip literally happened around the same like timeline as like Jay Z and Solange and Beyonce. That elevator clip came out immediately. Ray Rice was like about a year before as well. The clip came out immediately, right? But Diddy, I'm like, how powerful is Diddy? God damn, that clip didn't come out until now. And elevator clips was like just leaking from hotels. But this one though, they just sitting on it. I'm like, who the hell is this dude? How much power does he really have? How much power does he have?
Yeah. This happened right around the Ray Rice time. What was that? 2012?
I think that was like
Yeah, yeah.
14 or 15 because I think Ray Rice and the Beyonce thing and Solange and Jay Z thing were about a year apart. I want to say. I want to say it was about that time.
But still, though, it was the year of the revelation of the elevator videos.
Yeah.
That still coincides if you think
Obama
about
had
it.
an elevator moment too that very same year. A dude got on the elevator that was armed. The Secret Service was there, but he got on the elevator with Obama and he was armed. That happened too, right around the same time, like literally within the same year. So that was a bad year for brothers in elevators, and then obviously like the next year or so, you know, Diddy right by the elevator, and damn, I'm like, and that clip just don't see the light of day until now. I'm like, that didn't magically come up. Like somebody, that's I'm more. It's messed up, but I'm more interested in why that clip just came out. Like that's what's bothering me. I get it. But she got her money already. She's not gonna go forward with criminal charges. So this video comes out after. Like who leaked it and why? That's
It's to tarnish his reputation amongst the public to get them in a fervor. So when the charges are dropped, nobody's surprised, bro. This is all a condition. This is a psyop, man. In a way, you know what I'm saying. But this is how they do. See, we're awake and aware of what's going on, but this is how they dismantle us. You know what I'm saying? Piece by piece, leak by leak. And it begins to sway the public to start saying, well, this dude is a real animal, a real savage. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, son need to go down. But the reality is that It's a play because they got the same fucking tapes on Hart, Weinstein, on these big politicians. Look at the dude Prince Andrew. That motherfucker is a molester of young girls. They got all kind of evidence on this nigga, like red-handed evidence. He's still out here chilling. He's still out here chilling, bro. Coming and going as he pleases. So that lets you know, man.
Man, hell of a
No, but here's the but my bad, average. Let me say this real quick because I'm about to step out. But here's the thing, man. They only could do that to our people if we co-sign it. See, that's how they got Cosby ass. That's why I look at Black Hollywood with a side eye. Y'all didn't pull out no fucking fucking pitchforks and ropes for Willie Allen and all of them. And what's the other dude? The dude that used to be on Seventh Heaven and all of that shit. But you sat there and everybody sat there and had something to say about Cosby, with the exception of the few brothers and sisters from Black Hollywood that was off cold. See, they need us to green like that shit when it comes to our own people. This is why, like I said, once again, when it comes to the Diddy thing, I got my criticisms, but all of that shit, like I said, jumping on the bandwagon because they want to go after him at the moment, nah. Like I said, if we're going to criticize our own people, we need to be amongst our own space, amongst our own platforms, at our own expense. You get what I'm saying? I wasn't too fond of that, even of that Cat Williams and Monique and all of them running up in there to Shannon Sharp because cause they jaw jacking back and forth with each other amongst the community, but you got people that are outside of our community that put their 2 cents in and instigate. See what I'm saying? And that's when that once again, this is where this becomes dangerous. So you get what I'm saying? So being that our own people decided to jump on the bandwagon, in particular when it comes to the Cosby case, they was able to sit there and put our fucking elder in jail for some shit he really didn't do. You get what I'm saying? So we got to be very careful about that type of shit, yo. And that shit don't just apply to celebrities, yo. Even that shit with Lori Lightfoot, I wasn't too fond of, bro. And then don't get me wrong, I'm not a Chicagoan, but once again, these people are being used as proxies. Even Eric Adams, as much as I can't stand that motherfucker, but I'll give you more context and I'll elaborate on what I mean when it comes to the politicians. They're literally sitting here putting all of these politicians and don't get me wrong, they get in the sense they're getting what they deserve because they bootlicking. But at the same time, they're using them as proxies to basically reflect and say that Black Americans cannot run governmental bodies. They don't know how to run those cities. They don't run no government. That's why they attacking Jasmine Crockett and the rest of them. You know what I'm saying? These people we gotta do. So we really have to understand proxy wars, and then this is where we fuck up at a lot of the times because just because it's just because the mainstream media or the dominant society decides to sit there and make a nigga out of somebody in our community, we jump on the bandwagon. That also shows on a public scale how fractured we are as a people too. So we got a lot of shit we got to get together when it comes to being on code, bro. And that type of shit when we just sitting there just quick to criticize people from our own community just cuz, you know what I'm saying? That shit got to start getting checked.
absolutely.
Nigga, I questioned all that fucking Cosby shit, bro. Questioned all of it, nigga. Cause I'm like, hold on, these cases are from when? I'm like, I'm this age and th- when? I'm like,
Some went back
I'm
to the
But they
this
late
but
'60s.
age.
but they
I
ain't lock
wasn't
up
even
but they
born
ain't lock up Carolyn
when
Bryant
some of
though.
this shit
Some
was
went back to the
happening.
late
You know what I'm
'60s.
saying? But they ain't lock up Carolyn Bryant though, right?
Right.
You get what I'm
Hey,
Yeah.
saying?
hey, hey, but how fucked up was it when y'all saw how the bitches looked though? Excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? You saw that ugly looking mother effers, they was lying. We knew that shit was bull when we saw the girl. Cosby ain't got a drug none of them mother effers. Stop
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah. I'm like, I had to look back to see how they looked back in the day, just and it still was like, I was like, nah.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's what
it
I
was
was
like,
saying
because
too. Yeah.
let's keep it a buck, man. Like some of these allegations, I think the earliest one was like '67. I'm like 1967 is damn near 60 years ago. Like it's 57 years ago now. Like that's a long goddamn time ago for you to be like, yo, Cosby something something, but I didn't tell nobody because I didn't think they believed me. I'm like, in 1967 Hollywood, they wouldn't have believed you if a black man coughed on you back then. They would have him at the
I think
police
I
station.
th- I think on the we could like you know how the white cops kill a black man and they always defending that white cop. I think the not with the whole black race, but with the selected few on this app, be like that's okay. We still love them. You know what I'm saying? That's how we got to treat them motherfuckers like that because a lot of us got to work for these motherfuckers. A lot of us don't want to hurt their feelings. You know what I'm saying? A lot of niggas is dick riders. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of hard for majority of black folks to speak their fucking mind without it costing them something. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem right there. They got us all on the payroll, so it's kind of hard to speak your mind about what the fuck going on. But I'll just say shit, Bill Cosby did that shit, that's still my man. R. Kelly did that shit. Well, that is Chicago, the motherfuckers is kind of buck wild up in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? It's like the folks in Chicago was saying, like, shit, them little girls grown up there. You know what I'm saying? They don't know the people who not from there don't know that, but the ones who, you know
Nigga.
what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
go
but
ahead.
I'm
My
just
bad.
saying, just cheer the motherfuckers on. But like, it'll be all right. That's my man. That's my elder. I love him. You know what I'm saying? We can do about it. He'll do better next time. Yada yada yada. On to the next one. What about Epstein, motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? Hit him with the what about Epstein, nigga? You know what I'm saying? So I think we just flip it on their ass and shit. It's real easy. It ain't no
No,
big deal no more.
I feel you, man.
My
Out in the
thing was,
open, I
oh,
talk. I could definitely hold the line or whatever. Behind the scenes, though, man, I'm like, hey, when I see R. Kelly, I'm gonna slap the shit out of him. But like, I ain't
That was that nigga on that tape though, motherfucker. I'm gonna say that. That was
I'm
that nigga.
like, yo, man, let me tell you something. I don't want you watching my kids on video. I don't want you watching my kids on social media, nigga. Like, I don't want you to even know I have children. I have little girls. I will fuck you over real bad. Like if I, you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
But
hey, hey,
but
bro,
but but
hey,
hey,
bro,
man,
hey, bro,
good luck with your
hey,
case,
bro.
man. But I don't trust you, nigga. Like I'm, if that
That's
was my
that's
babies, whoo,
that's what I'm saying. That's the type of shit like, bro. Man, you gotta talk, my man. Fuck all that R. Kelly, motherfucker. Come on over. You know what I'm saying? You gotta put your hands on.
yeah,
You
yeah,
got to.
for real. I look
You
at the
got to,
parents in
dog.
that too, though. I look at the parents.
that's why I blame the
I look at
parents
that shit too.
100%, bro. I don't even blame R. Kelly for being a savage, bro.
Hey,
He is what he
and
is.
two though, y'all gotta realize they live off gang rules. R. Kelly ain't no sucker. He's a high end one of them GD motherfuckers up there. So you gotta look at that too. You know what I'm saying? I'm being real with y'all. They ain't no suckers up. They ain't no hoe ass niggas up there, bro. They get down. These
Hey,
peoples get down.
that nigga would have made a little run to the next time he had a show. He'd have hopped on in his car to go to his plane. He'd have got fucked over real bad. And no matter what gang you're part of, he'd have got it if he'd have mine. If he'd have messed with my kids, like, but
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just saying the dad is. So they follow that shit.
no, I
Like an
feel
out of
you
town motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That tour bus gonna get shot up. You know what
for
I'm saying?
real, for real.
And I don't give a fuck. It'll be a 2.5, bitch. I'm busting at that bitch. It might not even crack the window, bitch. Popping that
Shit,
motherfucker.
I'm gonna be Samuel Jackson. I'm gonna be Samuel
Oh
Jackson
shit.
in a time.
He deserved to die.
I'm gonna be Samuel Jackson in A Time to Kill. I'm gonna be sitting there with crazy ass eyes. My hair gonna be going every which way and shit. Don't ask me. Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
Dirty ass tank
I'm
top,
in a dirty ass tank top and shit,
sweated out.
and then
That's looking crazy,
and
wild
then I'm be
eyed.
like, and then I'm gonna sit there and calm down and be like, hey, you think I'm gonna get off? Give me a white lawyer. You think they're gonna get me off or what? I'm gonna be sweating every fucking scene you see me. Every time you see me be sweating in my dirty ass dingy tank top and shit.
Hey, talk about. I should have just shot that nigga in his leg, man. Damn.
I'll be like, damn, one, yeah, right. Like he dead. Don't I'll be in the court.
Average
Hey,
fro,
I,
average fro in the picture
I
is
love
turned
step
to
in the name of
dread,
love, man.
half dread, half
I be like, I
fro.
love step in the name of love, man. Look, man, I just wasn't in my right mind. I was playing R. Kelly on the way over there. but, but nah. But in front of everybody though, nah, I feel you, man, because they be like everybody else ain't got no shame, man. That's what fucks with me. Black people, we be in a rush. We don't win. We ain't win. There are no awards for throwing your people on the bus or even saying, "Hey, man, what he did was wrong," and I completely do. You over here in front of all these folks that ain't you trying to show how much you don't agree with another black person's action.
Hey,
But here's the
but you,
hold on
but
a
you,
second. Hold on a second. Here's the
go
problem,
ahead.
though. Here's the problem when you juxtapose that to how white people ride against another for a white person that did some vile shit, Derek Chauvin, or even recently. Let's look at something that's not even as vile that you can easily be against, like cheating, like in sports. Look at Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, right? You know how many fucking Mexican boxing fans are just acting like it was okay. I'm like, this motherfucker had 4 failed tests, and he also didn't make weight, and it gave him an advantage, and he still couldn't. He still could not floor Devin Haney for 10 seconds. He couldn't keep Devin Haney down for 10 seconds, even with all that advantage, could not do it. And then after he talking all of that shit. Then after he get busted all the time. Oh, I'm gonna get another sample and all this. As soon as he get busted, then everybody's like, well, he still beat his ass, and that's just a hell of an ass. I'm like, man, y'all sick. Can't.
Hey, bro, hey, they use that 80 shit to sabotage our moralities, man. You know what I'm saying? That dope game shit, that murder, no snitching
So let
shit.
me ask y'all a question.
They try to
Did they take that?
sabotage us.
Did
Go
they
ahead,
take
though.
that win away from him?
It looks like it's going to be a no decision, but if the Haney camp keeps pushing it, it could be a win taken away, along with the band. And the great thing about it, here's another thing too. I was watching this very closely as a boxing fan, as somebody who has an uncle that is really heavy in boxing, who is a really good boxing trainer, has an Olympian that he's training who might win the gold medal actually. So y'all look out for Terry Washington. But anyways, my uncle, I don't want to give away too many names. Probably by in the Olympics, he'll be like, "Oh, that's Average's uncle." Y'all gonna start looking shit up, but but nah. Um, like what they can do in the state of New York. New York has one of the most stringent, strict athletic commissions. So Ryan Garcia before the fight was really pushing to not be in New York, which is very weird because New York is a great stage for boxing, but he didn't want to be in New York because the consequences there can be dire. They will ban the fuck out of you there, and that's going to be the decision. You have to respect the decision of the local athletic commission, whatever they come up with, should you come up dirty. So it's going to be on whatever New York does. That's not the state to fuck up in. When it comes to a lot of things, they don't give a fuck if you an athlete or not. They want to make an example. It's cats that want to get their career off of this. So him messing up there, it's not looking good. So they may actually make it reverse the decision, and it just doesn't appear on the record at all. Usually, it would be a no decision. You know what I'm saying? I believe they did that with I gotta forget the guy's name. That was also New York, and I think Canelo might have had one that was like that. Don't quote me, but it's typically a no decision on the boxer's record. And but the messed up part is they announced that even if you're undefeated, they'll say blah 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 and one no decision, and everybody don't know what that is. So the Haney camp is going to push for it completely being removed. They're probably going to ask for an even longer ban because Ryan's going to definitely get a year, but he might even get 2 or 3 years. And then probably because of how he acted, all the antics around it. But then on top of that, the Haney camp is probably going to sue Ryan Garcia for everything that he has, as they should. So this one is different than the typical ones because of everything that was surrounded. And if I was Haney's camp, I would also sue whoever I could, not just not the commission, but all the belts. And then also, if you knew the sample was dirty before the fight started and you didn't tell if any of that it can be proved, whoever made that decision should also be sued because a lot of times I think they make it to where you don't know the fighter. They don't tell the fighter because there's so many hundreds of millions of dollars wrapped up in a fight like that, including hotels, rent cars, along with the event and the cable and all of that shit that they don't want to just stop the fight like literally the day of because when you put them samples in, it would be the day of the fight that you would cancel the fight, and that's a lot of money that goes down the drain. So I think that they need to do something about this testing situation. But the Haney camp got a really good lawyer, and they got another guy that's good legally as well. And it's not going to go well for Ryan Garcia. Even on the light end of it, it's not going to go well. But if they get everything they want, Ryan Garcia is going to be basically done. Like his career is all but over. It really is. It's not good. Wrong state to fuck up in. In Vegas, he'd have had a shot, maybe. He still would have got a year, but he might have had a little bit of a shot. But New York ain't no joke when it comes to the athletic commissions and all of that. Like, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And the stigma is one thing, but it's just that penalty is going to be more harsh than it typically would. And the Haney camp has some hitters around him. I forget the name of one of them. This white dude who he will look at every little discrepancy and blow it the hell up. I forget his name, but he does this for real specialist. And fuck Ryan Garcia. Like the way he was talking and speaking and how he was acting after the fight. And there's people who thought that Ryan was juicing before because you look at his body on his way up. And then even Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was kind of shocked when he kind of like was, fighters do this. They feel each other before the fight. And so Mike Tyson kind of like pressed him or whatever. And Ryan Garcia pressed him back. And Mike kind of like had this like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, kind of thing. Paulie Malignaggi, he thought Ryan was juicing before the fight, like fights previous. People believe that Ryan Garcia was juicing with Tank, and Tank, of course, knocked Ryan the fuck out. But people thought that, and it was a perfect way to knock out a guy who's juicing. You hit him in the ribs. You know what I'm saying? You hit that liver. You can't do shit with that. You get hit in the liver real solid, your body gonna quit on you. Even if you want to get up, your body says nope. So that was smart by Tank, but he probably was juicing even then, because getting in the ring with Tank is no fucking joke, especially if you're the Ryan's size. So that whole thing, man. I can't wait to see what the outcome is, but I hope they throw the book at his ass because, just the way that people are acting after the fact. And Devin Haney was on his way, to having a great career, and that could be over. That could be over. That was a hell of a beatdown that he got, and people, psychologically are lost, but also the beating into the loss. Like Devin Haney might have lost in his mind. You know what I'm saying? As a boxer, even with an undefeated record, he may now go out there as a boxer who's lost. And so that's hard. And that's if he recovers from the physical damages. The psychological damages still might be there, man. So yeah, this is an important decision for sure. And so I'm just glad that they caught it. I'm glad that they caught his cheating stupid ass. Thank God for that.
Ely, did you want to speak?
Girl, what you doing? Smoking? You sound like you taking a tell. I'm kidding. I'm teasing you. You just wake up.
No.
You sound like you want to speak.
No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
I just switched phones.
Oh, that's what's
yeah.
up.
I was just saying that you know how they switched the morality of motherfuckers and shit where we can't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, how they broke the black community up and stuff like that. So all these little tactics they doing is, they gonna always push at us. You know what I'm saying? But they can't do nothing physically no more to us no more. You know what I mean? Like how the black folks back in the days were beefing and everything. I mean, beefing with white folks, they couldn't do that to us this go around. So they're using all these little mental little weird shit that they've been doing for the last, you know, such and such odd years to demoralize us. So like when Bill Cosby went to jail, we felt like we couldn't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or when P Diddy getting in trouble, we feel like we can't say no. We got to say something bad. We can't just take up for him. You know what I'm saying? But just what I mean. I don't know if y'all can follow me though, but they basically took away the right for us to actually speak up for ourselves. We always got to motherfucking go off what they say and shit. And now that shit is wearing off now. You know what I mean? So like that's why I said maybe it's probably best to just be like, you know what? Yeah, he might have done it, but oh well, you know what I'm saying? That's my brother. I love him. You know what I'm saying? God got him and shit. You know what I'm saying? He'll change. You know what I'm saying? So it got to be a whole new hookup on how a whole new hookup on how shut your white ass up, bitch. I'll smack shit out your bitch ass. Punk motherfucker. Excuse me, Joe. I'm playing this damn game and they hear these white folks hearing me talking shit. But they basically taking away. They demoralize us, man. They took away our moral capacity and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? With that dope game and shit. So now all this other shit happened. And that's right around the time they took over the rap game and shit. That's right around the time the black folks start getting paid in the NBA. That's right around the time the motherfucker the rap it was billionaires coming out the rap game. Folks were getting good ass jobs. Folks were becoming doctors. It's right around that time. At the same time, they used that no snitching shit. They broke the families up. They raised a whole bunch of kids who hate each other. And the crime came. Then Bill Cosby on TV and motherfucking such on TV and such on TV, and they showing them. And here we are being instead of taking up for him, we like, man, lock that nigga up. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I was saying, man. You know, I got confused and shit with this arguing with this motherfucker, but that's all I was. Plus,
Shut your white ass up. I don't know, but shut your white ass up. I was wrong. I was dying, man. And what really fucked me up,
Oh, it's
I looked
weak.
at the screen too, right? I was like, okay, is somebody talking off the mic? That's what I thought at first. And then I looked down, and for some reason, my eyes went to Brother Muko. So it really fucked me up even more. 'Cause Brother Muko's avatar is, what is that, Crumvey or what was them? What you gonna do?
bruh, I'm
What
blocked
you
on
gonna
Facebook.
do?
Before they changed the rules and shit, I was blocked on Facebook. They clipped my page. I had an ill ass page. I had my real name and shit, and I had Facebook since 2007. So I had Malik Shabazz on my friends list. Beyonce's mama. All them folks were on my friends list because you know they got on there when it first started jumping and shit. And I got into that Black Power shit, man. I got into it with KKK motherfuckers. I was dropping locations like, bitch, we coming to shoot you up, bitch, and all this shit. And this is like my fourth page on Twitter right now. You know what I mean? So it's just in me. I don't give a fuck. I would rather fight white folks. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna even lie to you. You know what I'm saying? I would rather fight white folks.
No,
You
I
know,
could
I'm
dig
not
it.
a gang. That's just how I am, brother. I had my experience with the Klan with some young boys who thought they were the Klan up in Kansas. You know what I'm saying? Me and my man's from the Shire and Houston and all these other cities. These white boys talking about nigger, 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 go home. We like, nigga. First of all, this nigga is a fucking lord in Chicago. It's five Detroit niggas from the east side and west side. You got some big black ass Houston niggas with gold teeth. You got them Jersey niggas. Bitch, we about to kill you motherfuckers. They kicked us out of school for that shit. You know what I'm saying? And them white folks came at us. We was about to kill them motherfuckers. They found out now and they ain't going down like that. You know what I'm saying? And I read that Dr. Claude Anderson book my senior year in high school. That's what made me go to school. I'm like, oh hell, I was already up on the different world shit. But when I read Dr. Claude Anderson shit, you know what I'm saying? Then when he tried to do the Africa town there, it was over with. I've been free ever since, bro. I done lost jobs. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
I
Whatever.
mean, it's free.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
Yep.
free. It's freeing, man. It's freedom to actually not care about what somebody is saying. You know what I'm saying? I haven't worked for anybody. I want to say it's been almost 12 years now. And
Man, that's what's up,
I
dog.
say this, the moment that I started like being on social media, just giving my real opinion, I started doing it to really, it was like therapy for me because I had a position and I was fighting my old company and all of that, and I won eventually. But during that time, I remember being so mad about everything that I was putting up with, and having to, I couldn't say everything I wanted to say in the moments that I wanted to say it. But I started to fight back when I was away from them. I could say things, even I sued them, even in my case or whatever. But then I thought about my life and people in my life and how often I wasn't saying exactly what was on my mind to family members, to friends, and all of that. So I started to
Yeah.
outwardly express my political views. And what I noticed was I started to repel from me the energy that I always hated to have around me. It was working on its own because people didn't want to really say nothing to me. The same shit that I was not trying to say to them for thinking about them and not trying to have a conflict is the same shit they didn't want to say to me, or they didn't want the same way they didn't want to say something back to me for my political views. And then I started noticing people didn't really fuck with me no more that I didn't really value anyway, but I was doing too much value in their opinion. So I was repelling the bad energy from me that was like, my blood. Because you sometimes you be having people in your family that's coons or they marginal. You know what I'm saying? They on the fence or whatever. So now, people know. Everybody know how I get down. They know what I think in my family. And the people who got certain questions, they ask me questions all the time. Hey man, this is how, what you think about whatever. We'll have those conversations. But those who in their feelings because they got like they got like a spouses of a different race or whatever and all of that, they know where I stand, and that's freeing to be able to express yourself where you stand at, not care about how it affects anybody, and just be you truly unapologetically. That's really the way to go, and that really comes with having self determination. Like it goes
Yeah,
a long way.
that that I've I ain't no angel, you know what I'm saying? And I was 14, 15 growing up in Detroit. So, you know how it was, man. Motherfuckers selling crack and all type of wild shit. But when I got to high school, other than my pops and my moms, I had folks who beat my ass to make me play football and basketball and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I still did my dad with the streets. You had to put on the front tough like I'm tough. Really, I'm a fucking nerd to collect comic books and shit. God damn, I got shit like that. You know what I'm saying? My daughter's sport. I do live fly shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm into poetry and all that shit. So I'm 6'3", 260. And I knock a nigga the fuck out. You know what I mean? I don't lift weights. I'm just, doing 2 miles of bear crawling. You know what I mean? So I had no problem with letting motherfuckers know where I stood. You know what I'm saying? And I always found something to fight for. Like the day I found out the motherfucking about the Black Wall Street and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? That was another freed me right there some more. It redirected my attack even more. You know what I'm saying? And then the Arabs coming to Detroit all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? First, they moms and pops was some old immigrant motherfuckers. Now the kids think they black. Hence the microphone check thing. You know what I'm saying? So the parents were some bitch ass motherfuckers, but now they kids gangsters and thugs. I'm like, dog, your dad left this country. Now you a killer now, nigga. I'm not afraid to die. Oh yeah, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. So it's I lost friends, everything. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I'm telling you, I would rather beef with them white folks. The only way we're gonna beef with them white folks is everybody getting money. We got the street in Detroit called the Avenue of fucking Fashion. It's a mile long strip. That nigga David Banner was up in this bitch. He was like, I ain't never seen no shit like this. Nothing but high end black motherfucker, excuse my language, black owned stores from 1 mile, from 7 mile all the way to 8 mile. You know what I'm saying? Restaurants, clubs, bars, cigar bars, just live. Nice neighborhood. On one side of the street, $1 million homes. Another side of the street, $200,000 or $300,000 homes. So it's a very nice neighborhood. All black folks. You know what I'm saying? And they try to take that shit from them people. The street they needed construction for 2 years. They trying to stop them people, man. And guess what? Folks were still coming out there. We was still going. All summer, that bitch was packed. Y'all do construction when we done, motherfuckers. Y'all taking y'all time. You know what I'm saying? Get the fuck out of here. And so I know, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers don't know who their enemies is, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just talking on this app. I'm being real with you, man. Even my daughter know them white folks ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Her brothers know them white folks ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? My old bird told me one time when I was a little kid, she's like, those are very intelligent creatures. Be careful. You know what I'm saying? That's all I need to motherfucking hear. You know what I'm saying? I went to 4 different colleges with a 1.0 grade point average in high school. Not because I was dumb. I just never went. Once football season was over with, nigga, what school, motherfucker?
God,
I'm driving base rentals, nigga, picking up girls, nigga, going to, you know what I'm saying? Fuck out of here. Until I read that Dr. Claude Anderson book, dog. It was over with after that. I've been, in my own little world. I got my own little business. I'm a controls engineer. You know what I'm saying? I don't do shit at work, but fucking back a robot up and go back on the phone and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I got a little small paintball business, laser tag. I'm about to get a virtual reality arcade added to that motherfucker. And after that, I'm teaching robotics for little kids. You know what I'm saying?
that's what's
Up here, I'm trying to get a 5013C, whatever the hell that is, to get that done up here because my girl's a teacher, so and my boy's an electrician, and I do the robot shit, so we can intertwine all that together. And
So y'all creating a religion?
a what?
the person
A religion?
speaking.
A
The
religion?
person who's actually going to speak next will be concerned. That's the person who's next.
Oh no, religion. No, I said I'm
Don't answer that man
opening up
question.
a.
He out of turn. And
oh,
like
yeah.
you're gonna
I'm
say
opening up
shit.
a.
Nah. I just wanted to chime in on the Puffy thing. How we all have this narrative about the reparations and stuff like that, and then we all on code with what we speaking about in these spaces, and then out of nowhere, somewhere Puffy happens, then it's like they control, and I won't say us, but a small group of us, they just control what we talk about and when they want us to punish who they want us to punish, meaning that when we do have this conversation about reparations, they control exactly what we're speaking about because it's a new nigga next week. So Puffy was just that new person to come out just to throw us off our square. And I like what Cameron did because he was on code, and we should always do that. Not let them dictate when and who to punish. When we should punish whoever we want to punish when we decide to punish them, not when the dominant society try to make us. And I land there.
Hey, appreciate you for coming up and also
And,
being.
and,
Hold on, a
and,
second, hold on, a
one,
second,
and
hold on, a
one more.
second, hold on, a second, hold on, a second. I wanted to say the concern. I appreciate him for coming up and being patient because he's been up here waiting or whatever patiently, and I appreciate you staying because we had some brothers that left. Who's like, man, I forgot what I was gonna say or whatever. So I thank you for getting your cook on, and then also Eli. Hold on a second. Brother Muko's also been one of them dudes that's been up here for a minute and hasn't had a chance to speak. And then after Chakra, then you could go. Is that Chakra? Yeah, Chakra. Oh, now he changed his name. But yeah, he'll get to go after that. But yeah, I'm gonna put Brother Muko and then whoever this guy is now. You name them. My name is your name, whatever. But go ahead, Brother Muko.
No, I was just saying from uh Eli, I definitely appreciate you incorporating your business and with your children's skill set. I could tell you're a black man that took charge of your children's skill set. Like I be in suggesting all the victims of racism, white supremacy to do. So I want to applaud you for that, bro. I got a son that's an electrician. My other son in HVAC, and I just handed down my maintenance business to him, starting a new business. You know what I'm saying? And this that's the thing we should do when we are whatever we're into, our children should be into 10 times deep. You know what I'm saying? My children know what reparations is about. They know that they ain't voting for no Republican or Democrat or independent party. They know they looking for people that's going to punish white supremacists such as themselves. And instead of crying on the sidelines, talking about, why don't somebody run for a redemption party? You know what they doing? They stacking up their bread so that they can change shit, so that they can build their own communities and be their own bank. You know what I'm saying? So I applaud brothers like Eli that's teaching that's being in charge of their children's skill set. You know what I'm saying? And I applaud all the victims of racism, white supremacy, because we get more on code than a motherfucker, man. It's 6 o'clock in the morning and we having a codified space like this. Man, shout out to the host and co-host, man. This shit is beautiful.
I appreciate that, my dude, and thank you for your patience, man, and also too recognizing Elay the Riot for doing what he's doing with his kids and all of that. That's real shit. You know what I'm saying? We need to see more, more examples like that of people trying to get their children down the right path. So yeah, definitely that's something to applaud for sure, and to also replicate as well. And those of us who are doing the same thing, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and tell your story as well. Tell people what you're doing with your children. You may say something that that we haven't thought of as far as what to do. You may give me an idea of something to do with my children. My children are in a black private school, and they teach them a lot of stuff. But then I hear things from other people where I'm like, yo, I need to be on that. I need to do that. So I appreciate that. After my name is your name is gonna be Carrie Also Very, who I rarely get a chance to hear. But my name is your name. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was asking Eli what his 503 was it a religion or religious organization? Because I usually hear that terminology when we speaking on churches being tax exempt. That's all I was trying to ask, and I wasn't trying to disrupt because I that was a relevant question to what he was talking about. And then also, my bad. And one more thing, also, oh yeah, the dude said something about Cameron. I think Cameron was being. I don't think he was being on code. I think he was just being honest and real. Like he don't know anything about Puffy at all. Which is what he was saying. He didn't hang around P Diddy. Mace did, which was his co-host to It Is What It Is. So, and that's not to be combative. That's just my opinion.
No, it's a good opinion too because that's a hell of a point. They should have asked Mace way before Cameron. And yeah, you're right. It might have been on that. Now, what I will say too is Cameron has been pretty cool. I think he was talking about reparations and being a Black American. I believe Cameron was on that, so he's had some nice sound bites recently that seem like he might be having some cool people in his ear. I do hope he was on code, but to your point, you might actually be 1,000% correct in just saying, "Hey, I don't know." You know what I'm saying? Dude might just been on some shit like, "I don't know." Hey, I don't know, Diddy. I wasn't there. Why the fuck you asking me? I get it because it's a lot of times you be having those situations where somebody be trying to scratch at something like somebody and you really don't be knowing them. You like, I don't know what the fuck you talk. Who? Like, yeah, I mean, I seen the dude around or whatever. Why the fuck you asking me? So you might be 1,000% correct. You know what I'm saying? And to your point, when you came off your mic, I just didn't want to skip over the dudes that had been on the stage for so long. And you like, hey man, so fuck me, right? So I was on that, making sure that I didn't skip over them. But no, I appreciate your build and your point of view. Um, Carrie, you're so very. I really get to hear you. What's up? How you doing, sis?
Doing, sis? I'm doing okay. Good morning, everyone. I didn't even really mean to press the button, but since I did, a great room. I just wanted to say about the people with trying to take hip hop and stuff. It feels like everybody's like, and I think it's cuckoo birds. I think cuckoo birds, the mother will drop the egg into another bird's nest, and when it hatches, it just pushes out whoever's in the nest, and this bird just has this other bird in there, and I don't know if the bird realizes that their babies got pushed out, but they don't really think past anything. They don't think the next step in their lie. They don't think about, were they here? Is there any receipts? They just claim it and say it's theirs. And I don't know if this is something that their parents tell them, or because some of the people that are trying to do this switcheroo thing are pretty young. But whatever the genesis of that sort of behavior is, it's just kind of really astonishing to see it, especially when now there's been a definitive, video, movie put out, which is fantastic because they can go through that. I hope that it does great when it gets onto Amazon. I hope it it does as good as Buck Breaking. That was another one that was very very impactful on the dominant society, and I just think that they're going to get their just desserts because the truth is the truth, and you can't alter that. And since they're not interested in telling the truth, we'll go ahead and take that from them, and they're just going to have to be 3 steps behind. And if that's the way they want to live their lives, then they're going to have a hard time because they're going to be, feeling like we're being mean, we're being xenophobic, or we're attacking. But it's not. This is just the path that they chose, and that's all I wanted to say. Thanks.
No, thank you for coming up and much appreciated. Your last post on your page just had me like, that picture is such a shit show that you posted. I was like, what the fuck is this? Is so much stuff in that picture. I don't even know. I was looking at it. I'm like, this is nuts.
It's nuts. Yeah, what's up with that? That's a blow it up and kind of really look at that. That's really deep seated, strange stuff. I forget where I saw that. It was put into the comment section of some room that I was in, and I was like, wow. And it really just opened my eyes because, we know that we're rent free in these people's mind, but they really internalize it. It's strange.
It was a lot to unpack in that picture. And yeah, you know what though? a part of me is glad that they're equating like being, I guess the dude like black dudes or whatever the fuck. I'm glad he using the RBG flag. Like, I'm not even go front. I'm like, hey, yeah, that's right. You go look for brothers with the with the RGB flag. You go find them niggas. Like, leave us alone. I don't want them catching on. I don't want you looking for no FBA. No, none of that. No black heritage flag colors. None of that. You go ahead and you go find them RBG niggas and see how they get down. Like,
Some of these tethers, man, they'll be. One time I was in one of these white rooms, all right rooms, and a Jamaican guy came up and he was talking some coon and shit. I don't know, but he was like, "I'm a little sick" or something. These white boys were like, "Can I say?" Literally, they wanted to set an appointment for him. Are you okay? Are you doing okay? And then as soon as they were done with all that, I was like, "Wow, you guys are just giving him blowjobs and stuff." And they were just talking to me like I was an ass. And I was like, wow, you guys really like them other people, but those are the people that are causing the problems. They're gonna in for a rude awakening.
absolutely. It's funny. Black Americans. If there's any one people that know white Americans better than anybody else, the only people who know white Americans better than Black Americans is white Americans themselves. Um, and we try to tell people who they are, but like these other people come in. That white man is vain, is incredibly vain, and hungry for acceptance from people of color, at least to the point of or an opinion that they can use. You know what I'm saying? So these people who are willing tools of that, they think that they're both kind of, I guess they have a communal relationship or whatever, but the person who's getting their little, I guess, little trinkets and set asides or whatever, don't even understand that white supremacy breaks its tools. That's to quote Jason Black, I believe. White supremacy breaks its tools, and you know, you're going to be a useful tool as long as you're useful. But when they find somebody who is a better tool, they're going to forget that you exist. And all that vanity and all that ass kissing is going to come back and bite you in the ass. But the white man know he don't know either. Like a lot of these people who be ass kissing, they don't even like you. They don't fuck with you, and they'll just as soon replace your ass too. They'll take what you have too. They look like they want to be your subordinate, but when they get their opportunity, they'll kick your ass down too and put their own people in. And that's starting to happen in a small sense, where a lot of these white folks are waking up to that, saying, "Damn, these cats that were, always smiley, smiley, just playing the white man game, smiley, smiley, waving and shit and all that. They got their own ulterior motives. It's so mad. Black Americans are the best friends that any other people ever had, and we get the short end of the stick all the time. You ain't got to fear us. We too much on the surface with things that we do to a fault, even you know what I'm saying, even with other melanated peoples, we are too open to a fault. Like we've had this conversation about the term I had a very disingenuous conversation with an African about the word booty scratcher, tether, and akata, which one came first. Now we all know which one came first, but he was trying to have this discussion on a very dishonest level, saying, well, I don't know which one came. Well, first of all, we know tether is recent, we know that. Secondly, booty scratcher, is a term that got used more on Black Americans than anybody. Black Americans were the object of that joke, that childhood insult, more than anybody else. But they want to have a narrative where they're the victim. So, no, because it has African, it's not a dehumanizing term the way Akata is. It's not meant to make fun of your social station in life, the way Akata is. It's not meant to even, it's a child's insult. And it was never really directed at Africans. It just says African in it, but keep in mind, dumbasses. I'm talking about the people who try to make this false equivalency. Black Americans at that time, when it was being popularized, were just beginning to call themselves African Americans. You know what I'm saying? And now it's a term that we're mostly known as by the outside world. So it's like African booty scratcher refers to us. It was created here. It was a childhood insult and all of that. But they never cop to we can say what a tether is all day long. We have defined it over and over again. Africans will give you 29 different definitions of what a kata is, and many of them will act like it's a harmless term, that's not meant to be a ethnic slur. They still trying to pass that around, or they don't want to address it. That they made up a term for us specifically. And they're the ones who we should be mad at. We should be undermining you. We're the face of Pan Africanism, and the concept of blackness comes from us, and we push that around the world to the point where they want to be it and cosplay it. Meanwhile, at the same time, you come up with an ethnic specific slur for the people who have been your greatest friend. Because Africans don't have no greater friend than Black Americans. They don't, and never will have. They just won't. And not even other Africans. Black Americans are a better friend to almost any African peoples in Africa than even other Africans are, because tribalism lives strong in Africa. Me, I'm anti Pan African because I'm anti tribalism, because Africa is largely tribalist. It just is. If it wasn't, Africa would be a superpower. It would be the superpower if tribalism didn't exist in Africa. Everybody would trade with everybody, and this resource-rich place would thrive, and a lot of the issues that exist today would be eradicated. But I digress. We have these disingenuous conversations with people who try to tether off of us, look like us, and then don't want to speak to the bad history that we have. And then when they get over here, they're willing pets of white supremacy, and we try to game them up. Hey, man, look, this is what it is. Don't trust him and all that. And they don't listen. And rather than listening, they want to teach us. They get here and want to teach Black Americans. And I'll say this very confidently: Africans really don't have much to teach Black Americans. I say that wholeheartedly. You don't. Not about American society, not how to operate within it, not how to survive it, not how to make it to the next level and make it better. Because Africans have not made American society better. They haven't made Africa better. They haven't made Europe better. Haven't made Canada better. But the places that they immigrated to in mass, they haven't made better. Um, so they come over here and act like they're going to teach or tell us something, which is complete and utter bullshit. African has nothing he can really teach in a general sense. Has nothing he can teach a Black American, and neither do any really other immigrant groups in this country when it comes to American society. You can't really teach me shit. You should be listening. But oh well. You are going to come over here to kiss the white man's ass to be a willing pet. And that's if you don't want to listen, if you just want to be on that. So, this is what we're
This is
facing.
what we're facing.
Being everybody's best friend.
Everybody's best friend.
You
You,
your mic is
your
like,
mic is like,
so being
oh,
everybody's
so
Whoops.
best friend. And then not having anything to show for our best efforts in good faith being reciprocated ever. And I land my plane. Before we go back to Carrie, Racer Bo.
Yeah, just real quick, I just wanted to speak on the the disingenuousness of the African booty scratcher thing, right? Um, and just to add on to what you said, um, when usually like particularly when we in spaces and I come across somebody from the diaspora that makes that claim that they were called that, I particularly always ask them how old they are, because the thing is that joke was only around for a certain age demographic, which I caught a lot of tethers trying to say, oh, I was called an African booty scratcher. Then when I ask them how old they are, well, I'm 28. Then you lying, because by the time that you started going to school at all, that term was in non-existence. These young kids ain't gonna run around calling nobody no African booty scratcher no more for over maybe 25, 30 years. Damn, well, not 30 years, but maybe about 25 years.
Nah, you was right,
So
Racer.
usually
About 30. You was right.
so all these people that's running around and they 28, 32 and all of that, talking about somebody calling them African booty scratcher, 100% lying. So once again, like when we have these discussions, even when it comes to certain terms, once again we got to know the history. That way we can put things in its proper context when people try to come up with these disingenuous arguments out of context. And once again, that plays into the whole hip hop thing. Going back to that, um, this is why they wasn't able to really get away with the lie. And then I brought this up in Tariq's space earlier, but I'm gonna bring it up one more time because Dr. Cologne, when he had that a live stream with Green Eye Genie and big homie Ike and all of that, Ike X or whatever. They asked him a particular specific question, and they asked him, "What indoor hip hop parties did you go to in the '70s and '80s?" And then he kept talking about, he kept referring to park jams. So let's put this in context on that. First off, understand something. We in New York, East Coast, one of the coldest states in the country, outside of maybe Chicago and other northeastern states, right? So the majority of the hip hop parties year round are going to be indoor because we only get 4 months of summer. You get what I'm saying? So you mean to tell me you was going to, so you just and I'm talking about according to Dr. Cologne's perspective. That means that if you didn't go to any indoor hip hop parties, even when you started first engaging hip hop, you were only able to party for maybe about 4 months. And then we had hip hop Christmas parties, Thanksgiving parties, Halloween parties that you couldn't participate in because they was indoors. It's too cold to be sitting there pulling out equipment in the park 8 months out of the year. So that's why that's why when I doubled up and asked him on his live, he got offended. Now also to back that up, the reason why um he didn't attend any indoor parties was because first off, when it comes to a park jam, anybody could pull up to a park. You know what I'm saying? The park is public domain. But when it comes to an indoor party, indoor hip hop parties is open to the public. But understand, you got, especially in the early '70s, you got gangs running the door. So if you didn't have no street swag or no street credibility, and that's even amongst us. See what I'm saying? Even amongst our own people, couldn't get in the party if they was designated a nerd. You get what I'm saying? Or not designated cool enough to step aside. So the whole thing about that is that's why all of these hip hop Puerto Rican crews that he's talking about, you don't see them on no flyers, and they also didn't attend any indoor hip hop parties during the '70s and '80s because one, nobody knew them. First of all, you're not going to come into with a gang environment and racial tensions running through the borough. You're not going to, a whole Puerto Rican crew ain't just going to bum rush no Black American party and start breakdancing and boogie. Then that ain't happening. So for the most part, it was really, how can I say this, through social invite. So if you wasn't connected to the streets and you didn't know somebody and somebody didn't know you, for the most part you wasn't getting in. And that even and even to take it back to Herc's party, the one they don't want to give credit to, the 1520 Sedgwick. Keep in mind this is a teenage back to school party, which they're claiming to be the first hip hop party ever, right? So just in theory, understand once again, even amongst him, that wasn't open to the public. If anybody ever been over there, what's that? 18, I think it's 1520 Sedgwick. You ever been over there in that rec room, which I have been? That rec room is extremely small, extremely small. I'm talking about, I don't even think it's a 30 by 30 in that room. So when he threw that party, this is why I say you got to know history and put things in its proper context. Because people like to use today's conditions to cover up yesterday's lies. So even when Herc and his sister threw that party, that was just close friends and people that they knew personally. That party was for. Keep in mind, these are kids. So what 16, 15-year-old know in the '70s really just got clout amongst the whole city to where they can invite everybody across the borough, blacks and Latinos, to no. So, and on top of that, you have gang tension across the borough. So, and that average, I know you can understand that coming from the West Coast. So that's like the '60s just pulling up in the A-Tray party. It ain't happening, son. You get what I'm saying? Like, and I'm talking about after the beef. I know the history on that, but I'm just trying to give an example. It ain't happening. People is going to be issues. So you got to have enough clout on both ends of the sets, or through all sets, to really bring everybody together. And what happened was with the gang scene in New York, a lot of people, when the gang truce happened, a lot of people that were former gang members wound up morphing into either b-boy crews, graffiti artists, DJs, or even security in a lot of cases. So the reason why he Dr. Cologne specifically gets upset when you ask him about being at indoor parties in the 70s and 80s is because there was no Puerto Ricans there. So he know he can't place himself in the early stages of hip hop. So that's why that question was so important when you ask him that, because once again we out here in the East Coast. So you mean to tell me you only participated in hip hop 4 months out of the year? So what was you doing for the other 8 months? And I land.
I appreciate that. A lot of good game there. I didn't even think about that. And the 30 by 30 room is, I mean, in a house, that's a huge room. But for a fucking party, an important one in a historical gathering or whatever, yeah, you're not going to do much with that. A lot of us, we can't even have family gatherings. Some of us have families too big to even, accommodate that room, a room that size. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. I know there's certain sides of my family we can't. I got a room, in my house that's pretty big the way it's laid out, and it's almost the same size as that. It's like I want to say it's like 32 by 21, and he would wake up right at this time. I'm right here, boy. I'm like, damn. Right at this time, he's like, wake up. Where you at? I'm hiding behind the fan. But nah, yeah, that's not a big. Oh, Carrie, I was gonna let you come up and cook after me. But I guess she was done, so I can dig it. But if she come back, then it is what it is. I'll let her cook. But yeah, man, that's not a big room. You know what I'm saying? Especially for a party where people got to move around and dance, and you got turntables and speakers set up and shit taking up some of that. And you can't really be within a certain vicinity of that. You got chords and all that shit. So yeah, that's not a big room, and that does put it into context because you would think the room is, I don't know, I guess bigger. A lot of times in your mind when you think about an important party that's quote unquote birthing a culture. Yeah, man. And then this dude talking about, oh, we was in the park or whatever, which sounds incredibly generic and convenient for an agenda. It's people that are sloppily trying to literally tether on to our culture. And so some of the circumstantial terminology and evidence that gets put out there about hip hop, it looks like he was trying to use that to say, how Puerto Ricans was there. Oh yeah, we was in the park. It's like, nigga, like there's not a culture that's just gonna happen in the. You talking about music or whatever? Yeah, we was in the park. Okay, cool. So what about other things? Like That's the thing that's beautiful about people that lie. They typically are very sloppy with it, and so the people that are there that experienced it and lived it in so many different ways, and they truly had a love for it, and while they're still living can express it. It's like, yo, no, first of all, you wouldn't do this, you wouldn't do X, Y, and Z. You can scratch at their lie and start pointing out a lot of discrepancies. So people like yourself, man, who you're multiple generations in the Bronx, and you literally are connected to the people who were there as the culture was being created, and they tell you their firsthand stories. Like, that's incredibly important to grow up in the area, to be in the neighborhood, to the people who are still alive and can tell you all the names of everybody who did everything. And it's like Derek Cologne is a quote unquote doctor, and Racer Bo is not a doctor, but is a far more accurate historian than Derek Cologne, who's a fucking liar. And so he gets triggered because the truth don't stand up to a lie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the lie don't stand up to the truth. Not at all. You know what I'm saying? And the truth is the truth regardless of who tells it. And when you know what you're talking about, yeah, people who want to lie are going to be very triggered, as he is. And he keeps on taking L's. I don't know why the fuck he won't just go away. He didn't had lives with people. He didn't got clown Puerto Ricans. Then, hey man, I love my people. He pointed to the flag and shit, and he said, but my Black American brothers, they're the ones who, created hip hop. And he was sitting in there on his face. Look like it was egg on his face. He was looking stupid because he wasn't going to correct a pioneer. What was he going to do? Correct a Puerto Rican hip hop, well, not pioneer, but a hip hop early participant who basically is saying, I'm not a pioneer, that I got taught the game and learned it. And it's Black Americans that did the teaching. It's theirs. He couldn't say shit because that person also was more credible than Derek Cologne. So yeah, man, I love this the movie, and I love the people who know what they're talking about speaking up, and me learning something, and then them somebody like Racer Bo going and seeking out a liar like Derek Cologne and combating and speaking up. I really fuck with that, man. So much shout out to Racer Bo, you know what I'm saying, Tariq Nasheed for the movie microphone check. And this shit should be everywhere. Um because this movie should be everywhere because people will just go with the lie. And I'm very disappointed at the black people who are legends in the game now who don't want to piss off their non-black fans. So they sit here and allow vultures to say whatever the fuck they want to say in their presence in order to appear friendly. Gotta stop doing that shit. We ain't got no friends when they're trying to take off with your fucking culture and you just sitting there, well, you know, we all friends and I share. And no, stupid. They don't mean you no good. They literally are trying to claim a piece of your culture so they can claim it all later. And you sitting there thinking because somebody cheesing at you and shaking your hand and shit and kissing your ass that it's all, you know what I'm saying? Shits and giggles. It's not. They only doing that because you are somebody. They'll spit on your people when your back is turned. They doing that because you a big dog. That's why you famous. Yeah, everybody's so goddamn nice to you. You know, it's they like they these legends. They like them rich white black dudes who be like, I don't see racist. No, of course you don't. If your ass, you a Charles Barkley type, your ass been rich since the '80s and shit. I don't know why all these black people talking about, man, black people need to stop being so nigga. You've been rich since the '80s. Of course you don't see since like '84. Of course you don't see racism the way somebody else do. Everybody kiss your ass so for so long you done forgot what it feel like. Like really, you know. But these are the guys that they put out there because they're connected to their money, and they've been getting treated good by white folk for like 40 years. So they, you know, and I'm glad that we having discussions like this and we pointing out the fuckery, man. Go ahead, Muko, brother Muko.
Yeah, I just appreciate Racer for even pointing that out because that is so very 100% true. How he was second setting the record straight, and even to support what Racer Bo was saying with some proof. See, these Puerto Ricans, they wasn't the part of them that were trying to mimic us in this movie that I posted in the Jumbotron, Bad Boys, with Sean Penn in it. Yeah, I'm saying in '83. This shows you who them Puerto Ricans was really trying to mimic. They was trying to mimic white boys. Yeah, I'm saying they was trying to get in with the white crowd. Yeah, I'm saying the little part of them that was trying to hang with us as far as like dancing against us and shit like that. That was them Cologne boys, the motherfuckers that was trying to get down with us. You know what I'm saying? And to really support what Racer was saying, we got another fucking legend who I know personally. Racer know him personally, I'm sure. Busy B, setting the record straight, showing you that these motherfuckers is really lying when they talking about hip hop was in the early 70s because hip hop wasn't even a fucking word until 79. You know what I'm saying? And that's Busy B, one of the original motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And I've known him for decades. You know what I'm saying? This is the motherfucker that got me into hip hop when I was fucking like 3, 4. So, man, all that other shit, man, these motherfuckers, it's too much proof out here that they have been lying. You know what I'm saying? And for these people that haven't seen that movie Bad Boys that was put in '83, I would implore y'all to watch that because there's a lot of truth in that, but it also tells you where New York was during that time in the '80s. Racer Bo is right. You know what I'm saying? Gangs started up there. You feel what I'm saying? This is the originator of gangs. You know what I'm saying? In that New York area. And we weren't involved in that at first. You know what I'm saying? Them 5 points that they was that really started the gang area back then was all immigrants gang warring against each other to try to take over what was already here, us. You know what I'm saying? So that shit stem back way it's history in that, and I'm glad that it's being exposed. But yeah, these Puerto Ricans, they wasn't on no shit like they ain't create none of that shit, man. These motherfuckers was too busy trying to mimic white boys.
Man, gang, gang. Anybody else want to come up and chime in? Nikki, you still awake, sis?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I'm just listening right now. I just
You a trooper.
enjoy and listen to what everyone is saying. So I don't want to interrupt.
What you eating on?
Peace.
You eating something good, ain't you?
No,
Oh, I thought you was chewing. It sounded you was chewing on something. What you chewing?
I ain't eating
She done
no
sat there and made
food.
a whole breakfast while
I
you was
eat
sitting
nothing
there
this early.
co-hosting, B.
You said what's up?
No. I just drink water when I wake up.
I said she sat there and made a whole breakfast while you was co-hosting.
Right, that's what it. That's
No.
what it sounded like. I'm like, she got like some waffles and shit, and some eggs or whatever, some orange juice. She got the whole complete breakfast, sitting here
She
chilling.
grits and shit.
Uh,
Oh, that sounds so good. Some grits. Yeah. Now I'll have that.
This nigga Elay is sitting there fantasizing and reminiscing. He like, man, grit. The way he said grits with reverence, grits.
Hey, dog. We got these 24-hour restaurants up here called Coney Island. Man, I can go get me a breakfast right now.
Man,
Whole breakfast special.
man, I get bitter when I think about grits nowadays, man, because I fucked around and went to this place in Inglewood called the Court Cafe, and they make Gouda grits. Man, grits ain't been the same since. I still do my
Hey,
man.
what's in that?
It's just cheese. It's just the cheese and the grits, and I put the little salt and pepper in there with it, bro. And it's fire. And the last time I had it with some fried lobster tail, bro. And I had what did I have? I either had a pancake or a waffle. Nigga, I was wilding, but and went to the beach and was just sitting there chilling, bro, just having a fat boy moment. Watching the waves crash and shit, sitting there in fat boy heaven, eating the goddamn food or whatever. I need to stop calling myself fat boy. Like, why you calling yourself fat boy? You ain't like. I'm like, no. Next to fat
I'm
boys, I'm not
envisioning
fat.
you sitting. I'm envisioning you sitting on the beach with some fried lobster.
I know, right? That's some bougie Southern California niggas shit for you right there sitting there watching the waves
Hey,
crash,
hey, hey,
eating
hey,
some
hey, that's
Gouda
hood
grits
bougie.
and some fried
That's some
lobster tail and
that's some
uh,
hood rich shit.
hey, but listen to the there's some French. They make some French toast that's fruity pebbles encrusted, nigga. See, fat boy shit. Fat boy scream. I call it fat people scream. Fat boy scream shit. When a fat boy see that meal, he go ah. He's screaming pleasure. He be oh my god, this is my utopia. That meal was there, nigga. Like I was sitting there just chilling and shit, and I was I hate to say this too. I was buying a gun, and it was taking a minute for the shit to get ready. You in a queue? The queue was like 4 hours long, so I drove a minute to go there and just have my little moment and shit, and waited for him to call me back. I was like, okay, cool. I'm about an hour in. Let me go back up, have me a nice little meal and shit. Black owned business, by the way. It's a black owned business. I put that out there. The Court Cafe has 3 black owners. If you local here in Southern California, the names of the owners will probably be memorable. It's Taco Mel, all flavor, no grease, and the owner of the Blue Kitchen or the Blue Truck. So all of those are black businesses as well, and they got together, had a joint venture called the Court Cafe. So look at that. And I went in there. Oh, and I bought my gun from a black owned like the only black owned gun shop out here. So I was having me a black owned day at the beach. You know what I'm saying? Cool little memory, but I need me. We say grits. I need me some grits, man. I need me some Gouda grits.
You know what, Average? I like the way you tried to disguise that. Yeah, I'm saying with pointing out they black owned businesses
Hey,
and shit,
but
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 still,
they
you
is
had a
though.
fat boy moment though.
But they black
A
owned
big
businesses.
motherfucking back moment. That was a big back
Yeah, it was a
moment. The
big back.
Gouda grits.
That was a
Right,
big back
right,
moment. Yeah,
nigga.
it
That
was,
shit was a big back fat moment, boy.
bruh. I couldn't help it. That's why I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna just tell them everything I was eating. That,
With a large orange juice.
nah, nigga, I had a diet coke.
I think the part that really got it is he was like, I'm on the beach. Yeah, I'm saying, like, hold up, y'all.
I ordered all that, and I was like, hey, let me get a fat free water. Oh shit! My wife hates when I say that. By the way, I go out to eat with my wife, and I say that shit as a funny joke for the waiter. I'm like, "Yeah, let me get a fat-free water," and just see how they respond and shit. My wife be rolling her eyes. You think you funny? I'm like, I know, but that shit funny to me. So fuck it. Let me get a fat-free water. And the waiter, most of the time, the waiter be thinking like, fat-free, like water has fat in it. Well, like, nigga, all water's fat-free. I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you. But somebody new came in. What's up, Sage? My bad. Forgive me, man, for being goofy.
No. You good, brother. You good, man. You know how we do. First of all, before I get into my monologue, brother Racer, did you tell Nikki that we got beef with her? Did you tell her that?
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
I was not there. I apologize. I was not
Oh
there.
no, it's all good. I
Um,
was like, yo, Nikki's in this fucking building, and she didn't say nothing to me or you, Racer.
that would that will never happen. I would never do no shady shit like that.
It's all
Um,
good. I was under the
I post
impression.
all of race. I post all of what do you call his name? Melrose's Twitter stuff for him, and I forgot to
Okay.
tag him right then and there. I apologize for that, but I would never do that,
No,
and I'm gonna
no,
be
no.
at the
We're,
rally.
we're, we're playing. We're playing. We just want to see,
Okay.
say hi, say get a hug, shit like that. But nah.
Oh, that would definitely
All
happen.
right, so,
I'll see y'all at the rally though. I'll be at the rally in a couple
all
weeks.
good. So, Racer, now we got beef with Melrose because he didn't say what up. So we're gonna divert that energy towards him. I'm just playing. Shout out to the brother. So, first of all, shout out to Racer for breaking down 1520 Sedgwick. Again, do not let them attach hip hop strictly to New York. This is what they try to do so that they can latch on immigrants. They try to attach it strictly to New York. And again, I'm not from the Bronx, from Brooklyn, but I'm a fellow New Yorker. My family's been up here since when did grandma come? 19 ooh, I think it was 51 when she came up from South Carolina. So um she got married with my grandfather. They went on their honeymoon, and then from their honeymoon they moved after their honeymoon they moved up here from South Carolina. So basically, if you speak to the pioneers out there in the Bronx that are like 60 years old today, they'll tell you none of them Puerto Ricans was at our jams. They was listening to, the Anna Gabriels. They wasn't really listening to, James Brown like that. Those park jams consisted of a lot of James Brown music. My question is, if hip hop was created by Puerto Ricans, and I always ask this question, where's the Puerto Rican version of hip hop? Because I know my brother Average is from the West Coast. LA has a unique form of hip hop. Oakland has a unique form of hip hop. Texas has a unique form of hip hop. So where is the Puerto Rican form of hip hop? Where is the Jamaican form of hip hop? Perfect example. And this is how I stumbled upon this yesterday. Um, a lot of you people probably don't know this, but Racer, you might know this. He's from New York. Um, and I think Brother Moko's from New York too, so you might know this also. There was a show called Stretching.
No, I'm from
Oh,
Baltimore,
okay, I'm sorry, my fault,
but
brother.
I know where you're going at with it.
So
See,
there was a show called, and shout out to Baltimore. I got family there too. There was a shout out. Excuse me, wow. There was a show called Stretching Bobito, and in 1990, if you guys look this up, Busta Rhymes was on Stretching Bobito, and he I think that was like one of his first interviews. That was when Busta. Okay, Busta Rhymes came in the door with A Tribe Called Quest. He used to ride on their coattails. He used to ride on the coattails of Q-Tip, Fife Dog, A Tribe Called Quest. So when they brought him up there to Stretching Bobito, he freestyled. And you don't hear none of the Jamaican cadence. You don't hear none of that. Busta Rhymes, honestly, didn't discover that he was Jamaican until I want to say it was okay to be Jamaican in hip hop. After that whole Latin explosion in the early 2000s, that's when a lot of people came out saying, "Oh yeah, I'm this, I'm that, I'm an other than a foundational." So again, throughout the '90s when Tupac was running around this motherfucker, nobody was really like, "Oh, I'm Jamaican." I mean, I'm not saying that cats were not Jamaican. Obviously, they were, but they were not wearing that on their sleeves. They were not walking around like that. You had the Haitian Jacks, but he wasn't a rapper. You had the Jimmy Henchmans, but he wasn't a rapper. I'm talking specifically about the celebrities and the rappers. No one was wearing those flags on their heels. You would have never heard James Brown. You would have never heard Busta Rhymes talking about, I'm Jamaican. You know that. None of that. Much love to my Jamaican brothers, but Busta Rhymes did not do that. And again, in that interview, obviously that interview cannot be changed now. It was taken in 1990. He was not on that time. He was on some, yeah, I'm black. It wasn't no, oh, I'm from the island of Jamaica. Busta Rhymes wasn't even born in Jamaica. So again, you're holding on to something, some culture that you weren't truly born in. Um, Sincere to Love God, shout out to the brother. When he was talking to Derek Cologne, Cologne is now backtracking and saying, well, we're not saying that the Puerto Ricans on the island created, hip hop. We're talking about the ones in New York. So what does that tell you? If the Puerto Ricans in the island didn't create hip hop, then that means they got it from someone up here. You're talking about the Puerto Ricans in New York. That means they took from here. So again, just let these people talk. Let them continue to, because listen, if you let a person talk long enough, they're gonna tell on themselves. So, allow them to keep talking. That's fine. But just know the truth. And that's all we're saying. 1520 Sedgwick was the community room. It is not that big. If you've been there, I mean, anyone can go there. If you go up to New York, I mean, I would say make sure you go with somebody that's from the area. But you know, if you want to go there, absolutely, it's not that big. It's truly not. And I don't know how, like they said today, if you ask everyone that's from the Bronx, they claim to have been there. I believe Fat Joe said he was there too. I would like to see footage of that, but um, because he was 3 years old supposedly. But again, let's not get caught up on hip hop being attached to New York. The term hip hop comes from New York, but the culture of hip hop does not come from New York. The culture of hip hop came from America. It was all spread around. It's a amalgamation of a lot of things. You can't say hip hop came from New York and then coin graffiti as a part of being, excuse me, and coin graffiti as a part of hip hop, because graffiti did not originate in New York. Hell yeah, it was all over New York, all over the trains and the walls. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it did not start here in New York. So again, do not let people try to limit hip hop down to New York, because that's a fallacy. And as long as we allow them to do that, because they like to tout, well, I'm from the Bronx. I mean, how you gonna say that? I mean, hip hop is the Bronx, hip hop the Bronx. Okay, so why is it that the Bay is hip hop? Excuse me. Why is it that the Bay is able to make hip hop and it don't sound like the Bronx? Why is it that Chicago is able to make hip hop and it don't sound like the Bronx? That means it comes from the people, and these people have something in common. And with that, I'm a
Oh my God, that was beautiful, Sage. Oh my God, that was beautiful. Oh, I'm gonna have to clip that or something. Oh, it comes from the people. And Derek Cologne, his
Y'all
ass
there?
was
Somebody
caught.
talking?
Yeah, Nikki.
Yeah, Derek
Oh snap!
Cologne.
Let me drop down. Come back.
Yeah,
I ain't had nothing she saying. Let me drop down. Come back.
Derek Cologne, his ass was caught in his traps, because if they did not make that music over there, then they didn't make the music, period. They learned it from over here. But I thank you so much. I thank you so much for saying that. That did something to my soul, what you just spoke. Thank you.
And sis, may I add one last thing too, since we're talking about and I hate to beat up on the Puerto Ricans, but since we're talking about the Puerto Ricans did not create any form of music, whether it be reggaeton, whether it be salsa. They didn't create any form of music. So because I know brother Average brought this up earlier, why are they trying to take hip hop? It's a feeling of belonging. Like they want to feel like they contributed something. So that's why, and hip hop is, in my opinion, the most powerful form of music. Well, you can see by the success that Tariq is getting. Hip hop is the most powerful form of music. I mean, Kendrick Lamar just set the world on fire. Like he has people that probably don't even understand English playing "They Not Like Us." And technically, dog, that's a diss towards you too. That ain't just towards Drake, but they don't understand that obviously. But hip hop is the most powerful form of music. So if they can latch themselves on to say, "Hey, I created this form of music," that makes them very powerful. But again, they didn't create any form of music, so they want people to know that they belong, that they've contributed in some way to society. And if you can steal hip hop, that's a very powerful form. What else can they steal? If we allow them to take this from us, what else will we allow them to take? My brother was just talking about grits. Don't be surprised if you hear Dominicans saying that they made grits. And with that, I'm going to land.
Better leave our grits alone and shit. Better leave our motherfucking grits alone. Put some of my goddamn queso and some salsa and some grits and be like, this is what y'all got it from. Fuck out of here with that shit, man. Better leave them grits alone, man. Don't fuck.
They better quit all of that interracial sexual access too, because that's how it gets started too. No more, no more of that interracial sexual access.
You better see. I'm trying. Look, man. Stop. You stop it, man.
Yeah, because here's the thing. And I think this was the sister Kerry point earlier, right? Um, what it is that and this goes for basically all of these immigrant groups for the most part. There is a whole detachment from them and their culture and their homelands. We have to understand that. That goes for the Caribbeans and the Latinos. So what I'm saying is that, believe it or not, to a certain degree, they're even looked down upon or outcast from their actual homelands. Like the Puerto Ricans on the island, they don't fuck with New York Ricans like that. And I've heard this sentiment throughout the years, and it's actually starting to come into the public. Even Fat Joe, if I'm not mistaken, I think Nori has said this in the interview when the hurricane happened out there in Puerto Rico, Fat Joe was like, "Yo, fuck them Puerto Ricans on the island." This is according to Nori. So what it is that for them to have an identity here, because they know this is why when people try to come here and act like they don't understand racism exists, this goes for the Africans too. Oh, I didn't know I was black until I got here. All of that is bullshit. Because they know when they come here, they can't assimilate to whiteness. They know this. So what? So the game is to basically co-opt what we got going on, because being that we're looked down upon by everybody and the most disrespected. Everybody feel they could just jolly stomp us when it comes to attacking our culture and then attacking us as a people. So they have to find their identity amongst us. Not only that, and this is why I hate when I hear people amongst us say that we don't have power. We have all of the power. Every single person or every single entity, particularly when it comes to entertainment or even sports to a degree, they have to get the cosign from us in order to be hot. I don't care how even good they are. They could be the best MC, best DJ, whatever in the world. If we say the shit is trash as a people, then that shit doesn't get no airplay. It doesn't get no how can I say levitate it doesn't get no upspring. So this is why Busta Rhymes is going through what he's going through right now. He's getting shows canceled. He has to tether on to Missy Elliott and Ciara's tour for him to keep his shit going. You get what I'm saying? So um that's the whole dynamic of that. A lot of these groups have a collective mindset to where they have to Americanize themselves, but at the same time they want to have this really is to a degree a disingenuous connection to their homelands. Like even Dr. Cologne, he says he's never been to the island of Puerto Rico, but look how hard he's going trying to erase our erase us in our own culture in the name of being a Puerto Rican. For him himself, he never even been to the island, and it's not like you need a passport to go there. So, so this is what I'm talking about when it comes to that particular mindset that Sorry to say that a lot of immigrant groups have collectively, and it's just the truth. And I'm not talking about them in their own homelands. I'm particularly talking about the ones that's here in the United States. A lot of these people never even been home. So another thing I noticed, especially when it comes to black immigrants, that all of this flag waving stuff, that's literally like to try to antagonize us when the narrative was you niggas ain't got no culture, you niggas ain't got no homeland. Because if you come up here on Labor Day, and then you'll see this at the end of the summer, this September coming up, a lot of these Caribbean groups, they wave their flags like gangbangers, like literally like they in a gang. And like I said, a lot of that was to be antagonistic towards us. And it's very unfortunate, and especially when particularly talking about that event, because We brought the Caribbean family into the Labor Day parade, literally. You get what I'm saying? So, and it wasn't always known as the Caribbean Day Parade. So, it's just unfortunate. And this is another thing I wanted to speak on, just about some New York shit, and I'm just going off real quick, and about gatekeeping. I know a lot of y'all that's maybe foodies, and average you a fat nigga like me, so I know you know about this, right? A lot of y'all been hearing New York is famous for the chopped cheese, right? I know that a lot of y'all heard about this chopped cheese. Now, once again, this is why you got to know history, right? And it just goes to show you how people to take it away from you. Now they'll credit this chopped cheese sandwich to the Arabs, but once again, that's a foundational Black American creation.
Wait, what?
The chopped
What?
cheese, yeah, yeah. You didn't know
They
that?
credit that. I'm done.
Yeah, we made that. Yeah, we made that. Yeah, we made that. And what you would call a chopped cheese, that's actually has been served in New York City around amongst the foundational Black American community going back to the 50s. And the thing is that what a chopped cheese really is, and the original name of it is a New York Philly. Because if you look at a chopped cheese, it looks just like a Philly cheesesteak. The only difference is that instead of being made with sirloin steak, it's actually made with hamburger, or the combination of both out here in New York. Granted, the term New York Philly. And then what happened and then in particular, that's when we, throughout the 50s, 60s, and 70s, up into the 80s and early 90s, we were still heavily in the corner store game. And then when the Hispanics came in and started taking the corner store game over, it still remained for a good while being called the New York Philly. And then when the Arabs came in the late 90s and the 2000s, they renamed it and called it the chopped cheese, and now you could get it the Aki way. So we have to really pay attention to our culture, because it goes to show, just that little example I gave could go to show you how people could seriously co-opt our culture and get credit to some shit that they have absolutely no part of. And I'll land on that.
I want to add one thing too to what my brother just said. Chopped cheeses started in Harlem. And my brother just said 40s, 50s. Who was living in Harlem in the 40s and the 50s? Because there wasn't no Arabs here. So it really, disheartens me to hear that they're giving credit to some damn Arabs for that. Really?
Yeah, and it's
The
not even called a chopped
Arabs?
cheese, and it's not even called.
Really?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. They renamed it a chopped cheese. That's what them Arabs called it, but that's not even the original. It's called the New York Philly, literally.
I'm just trying to seriously think about what exactly. Let me not go on the Arabs. I'll leave it alone.
Think about the chopped cheese, right? Like, if you want to break this down, let's get into it real quick. What Arabic ingredient goes inside of a chopped cheese?
Camel.
Exactly.
I'm
So
trolling, by the way. I'm trolling.
now I know you're trolling, but that's my point. None of the ingredients for a chopped cheese is come from any part of an Arabic culture. So how did they create that? See what I'm saying? So I'll land on that.
New York gets a bad rap because of this whole quote unquote melting pot thing that they have people believing in. New York is not a melting pot. I know we broke this down before, but I know my brother racist from the Bronx. I can break down Brooklyn for you. The Hispanics live in Bushwick. The Hispanics live in Sunset. The blacks live in Bed-Stuy. The I would say, I mean, it's changing now, but blacks also live in Fort Greene. Um, Blacks also live in East New York. Around like East Flatbush and Flatbush, you got the Caribbeans. Uh, but Bensonhurst, you have the Asians. Um, Dyker Heights, you have the Italians. Bay Ridge, you have the Italians. So when they say, you guys have to understand, when they say a melting pot, they're saying that we all live within the borough, but we do not live amongst each other like that. And if you don't agree with that, you drive through these neighborhoods and you'll see certain stores that technically, like, okay, Asians buy out this store. You're not going to have a store in a black area that hangs ducks from the window. and that's no disrespect. That's what they do. They hang skinned ducks from the window. Like black people don't eat that. So you're not gonna have that in our neighborhoods. So again, when they say New York is a melting pot, they're saying that we all live within the borough, but we do not live within the same buildings or even the same neighborhoods within that borough. And with that, I'm gonna land. And to early, I didn't address Nikki earlier. Nikki, you can definitely. I know you don't need my permission, but you can definitely cut that what I said earlier and use that. Yeah.
Oh, most definitely. You new black media, sir.
Excellent, excellent. Brother Muko's up here. I was like, Brother Muko, you from New York? I'm like, man, yo, you can't hear that Baltimore accent, strong Baltimore accent too. Not super super strong, but you can notice it, man. I be teasing people from Baltimore. I'll be like, hey man, say new shoes on YouTube. Fuck you. No, but
Yo, them U's from Baltimore, bro.
be
Them
straight
U's
up.
go hard, bro. When they like brother Muko, say Baltimore, bro.
You already know, man. He
Baltimore,
said say
Baltimore,
Baltimore.
Maryland,
I
Baltimore,
don't even say Baltimore. I say
What the
BMO.
hell's a Merlin?
Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah, for Baltimore, Maryland, dummy. Stupid.
Yo, when my cousins came up here, um, I remember when they got older and they started like speaking slang, and when they were saying Merlin and use, I'm like, what the hell is that? like, bro, I mean, much love to my family. I love y'all, obviously, but y'all accent to me is comedy. I guess New Yorkers got an accent too. I'm guessing. I'm guessing.
I mean, everywhere outside of Baltimore has an accent. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. When I'm down South Carolina, people instantly know, oh, you from Baltimore. I'm from Baltimore. They like, nah, you from Baltimore. I'm like, yeah, yeah. I say I just go with it. But one thing they can say, well, they always gonna have something good to say about a real nigga from Baltimore.
Hey, it's the white New York accent that's the fun. That's the one that made me laugh and shit. The black New York accent is cool, man. It's that white one, like I'm gonna go to the corner and get a cup of coffee, a quarter cup of coffee from the corner. That shit. That shit
But you know
funny.
what's funny? Average, just real quick. Believe it or not, we got our own dialects just within the boroughs. Trust me, your Bronx dude don't sound nothing like a Brooklyn cat. And then if you outside of New York, then we might all sound the same. I get that, but trust me, amongst each other, we know. And then this also goes to show you how even fashion has got thrown off, because even at one time you could look at a dude and yo, that's a Brooklyn cat. Yo, that's a Bronx cat. That's a Harlem cat. And I mean, you could just tell by the way he dressed. Like, I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about, and then I'm just gonna land. Like when you see Run DMC, how they wore like the leather top and bottom with the Godfather hat. That Godfather hat thing, that was a Queens thing. That was they shit. Um 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 when you go to Brooklyn, like the Brooklyn dudes
Don't
with,
bring up
with,
the
with like
Timberlands. Don't bring the don't do it.
no no
Don't
no
do
no
it.
no
Don't
no
do
no
it.
no no. I'm actually going into like a more of 80s fashion. Like with the Brooklyn cats, they think heavy was the Wallabies and the Clarks and then the Hush Puppies and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Cause that was their style. And then when you came to the Bronx, we was like a cross between Harlem and Brooklyn. You get what I'm saying? Like literally, like a mashup. So a Bronx dude, he'll throw on, he might throw on some Hush Puppies or Clarks, but then he gonna rock a 3-piece Fendi suit with it. You know what I'm saying? Harlem is just straight, like Cam is the embodiment of a Harlem dude. Everything flamboyant, everything flashy, everything witty and sharp, and that and high end. That's how Harlem get down. You get what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. And in Staten Island, they in their own world. Like they got their own total shit, own total style going on and everything. You know what I'm saying? I remember at one time in the 80s, all the dudes, this is why they call it Shaolin. And then people like to think they call it Shaolin strictly because of Wu-Tang Clan, and that's not true. And if you probably know I'm about to go where I'm about to go with this. A lot of those cats coming out of Staten Island in the '80s. You permit you I'll tell you they was walking around with karate gis and shit in the '80s and running around with the Bruce Lee slippers and all of that. That's why that was their shit. That was their style. So that's why it got the name Shaolin, because a lot of them niggas were wearing karate gear back in the '80s. But I land on that, bro.
And did the Last Dragon play a part in any of that shit? I just gotta know.
Nah, man, that shit was that. Come on, man. Like, I mean, one thing I give them, they did film it in Harlem, but
Just had
a
to
lot of
ask,
that,
you know.
yeah, they filmed it in Harlem. Bruce Leroy brother, he is literally from Harlem. I forgot the brother name, but he's from Harlem. Homeboy.
Yeah,
Um,
talking about he passed away a few some years.
yeah, I forget his name. It's a shame I forget that brother name, but I used to see him when I was a kid, but he's literally from Harlem. So was Leroy from Fame too, by the way. But nah, that shit was fictional, brother. Like, come on, man. A black man with a piece of shop, and well, that's not what that wasn't too far fetched because a couple brothers did have a piece of shops, but
But you said
you
walking
know,
around
it.
with karate stuff on. That literally was Bruce Leroy in the whole movie, walking around with
I
like.
mean, that's how them Staten Island cats kind of used to dress. Yeah.
Yeah, them dudes was racer. Them dudes, good morning everybody. Them dudes was out there strange though. Them dudes in Staten Island, you can tell a brother from Staten Island. They had their own little world out there. Their mindset was different. A lot of them was plants from, Brooklyn. Some came up from, when they hit from South, they just migrated to fucking Staten Island. That shit was a different world over there. Even Far Rockaway, which is part of Queens, but they had their little style out there too. And also in terms of with the men, you could tell different women from how they talk, how they conduct themselves, what borough they were from. When it came down to Brooklyn girls, they a little bit rough on the edges but outspoken. Bronx women was a little bit more reserved, but then they'll cut you up too. Queens women had a little bit of sophistication with them. Similar to Harlem women, had that little game and shit in their DNA. So you could actually tell the difference from where you just have a conversation with somebody who actually pick up what borough they came from. Now Staten Island women, so that water over there by that
Is that in the
what was
Hudson?
that
That's the
garbage
Hudson, right?
dump site?
They in?
Yeah, and then not even now Yonkers and Yonkers, what's that? White Plains, Yonkers, uh, up there where DMX and them from, and that shit was a different world up there too. So you can actually tell where people were from by just having conversations with them.
Much appreciated, man. Kid Gravity. And by the way, you permitted and Racer Boat, man. Y'all pictures is hilarious. By the way, two New York dudes with the with the '70s avatars from '70s movies. That's what's up. What's up, Kid Gravity?
Good morning. To piggyback off what Sage said, hey
Kid
Sage,
Gravity, can you hear? Can you hear me?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Damn, I
You
can't
Yeah,
can't
hear
hear
him
him,
if he's
Average?
talking.
yeah. Can you hear him, average? Because
Hey, can y'all
I
hear
can
Kid
hear him.
Gravity? I
I
can't
can
hear
hear
him.
him.
I
I
can
can
hear
hear him.
Kid Gravity, but
Hey, is Kid Gravity
if you
speaking?
can't hear
I
him,
can't hear him.
Can you hear me
Shit, is
now?
Racer Bo speaking? I can't hear him if he's
Yeah,
speaking.
you can't hear me,
Oh
average.
shit.
hold on.
Yeah,
Can
he
you
can't
hear
hear
me, Average?
nobody.
Hey, Nikki, is Kid Gravity saying something? Or you permit? Because if Racer Bo saying something, I can't hear him either. Damn.
Yeah, yeah,
Gravity
yeah.
was
Oh, it's
speaking.
like
He's saying
that,
something.
Twitter?
Kid
All right.
Gravity
Yeah,
Hey,
speaking?
Nikki,
Nikki,
drop
if
me
you hear me, he
drop
got to
me down. I
drop.
can't hear nobody. Drop me down.
Okay,
I
I'm gonna
come
drop
back.
you down and pull you back
What
up.
the fuck? What the hell just fell? Hey, drop me down, Nikki, and then bring me back up.
I blame In and Out Burger in LA.
Racer, you brought up a real good point when you was talking about Boston. I was in Boston in the '90s, and bro, it was real. I got trapped up in Chinatown like after 9 o'clock, and yeah, I got chased by like a bunch of motherfucking Chinese people. Yeah, I mean, so these places. Sage was right. We live in the same place, but it's very very segregated. You can't get caught in some of these other towns that you're not supposed to be in at a certain hour.
And also to your racer, how many of us really fuck with Chinatown down over there outside the Highland Tunnel. Ain't nobody. We ain't go down there and fuck with them like that.
Nah, man.
So
Only like for the most part, you might go to Chinatown to go to go get some fireworks or some shit like that. That was
that was
it.
it.
That's the
Yeah.
only reason why we went down there. We go down to Chinatown to buy niggas go down and buy the crates of the fireworks and all of that. But we didn't really go down there for too much. There was nothing down there for us.
Right. Yeah. We ain't eating that shit. We was in walking around and so when they was showing those pictures and shit of them people like hitting them Chinese, that shit was that those either homeless or them shit was plants because we ain't fuck with Chinatown like that.
I mean, I was even saying that was true here in B-more because, most of the times when you go in these Korean and Chinese stores, most of the black people calling these Chinese motherfuckers ma. So how the fuck we gonna be beating them? That shit just definitely didn't make sense, and it was a lie.
Remember Howard Beach segregated um, parts of Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. With the heavy Italians down there. We wasn't fucking around down there. They know the Russians over there by Coney Island.
But this is how.
Russian mobs
But
over
let me
there.
just. I know Kid Gravity want to go, but let me just make this super quick about that Asian hate crime shit. And this is why I kept telling people how to. This is especially coming out of New York. This is bullshit. All of the reports of Asians being attacked was strictly, for the most part, coming out of Manhattan. When you have major other Asian enclaves in the city, there's a large Asian enclave over there in Sunset Park, and then you got the niggas right on the other side of East Flatbush. Nobody was fucking with the Asians over there. You got all them Asians over there. I was
Queens
about to
too.
hit Flushing. You got
Flushing.
all those Asians over there in Flushing,
Yep.
and you got the blacks right on the other side of Elmhurst, or on the other, and some blacks on the other side of Kew Gardens.
Corona,
And
Elmhurst.
ain't
Yep.
nobody go over there and fuck with them. So why is this shit only happening on the island of Manhattan? The Asians getting attacked. That go to show you that whole shit was orchestrated.
Yeah.
Go
Kid.
ahead, kid.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, got you.
All right. Brother Sage, which borough in the city do they say is the most diverse in the country? I know it's the
Honestly,
borough you don't like.
the only borough I don't like, I really don't count it, would be like Staten Island, but
Oh,
we count it because Wu Tang, of course.
because
But
it's there. No, but they always say Queens is the most diverse county in the country
that's the
because basically,
goddamn biggest borough. The fuck?
huh?
Queens is the damn biggest borough. That shit might as well be a
That
whole damn
listen, I'm
city
just
itself.
saying what the white boys be saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm just repeating their words. And the reason they say that is because basically every ethnicity is in that borough, even though it's the most racist borough. But they don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, it is because you got parts that you got Greeks in one
Hmm.
area, Irish. Astoria always had Greeks down there in Maspeth,
Hmm.
the Russians over there.
You got the
We was
Caribbeans by
highly
the airport.
populated. Uh, that's JFK. That just really started happening. Um, because back in the day, all of Jamaica Queens was like you moved from an apartment in Uptown, the Bronx. You moved out. Queens was considered Long Island back in the day. You moved to Queens, you considered Long Island. Then they broke off Queens as part of the five boroughs, and then you don't start getting to Long Island until you get to like Elmont and all that. But then it was a lot of blocks out there, even out there by JFK, uh, Rosedale Park,
Yes,
Rosedale,
sir.
Rochdale, South Jamaica, was all Black
Yes,
Americans
sir.
out there. When you came up from the South, that's where you moved to.
Yeah.
Just only maybe back in the 80s and 90s, that's when 70s, 80s, when they really, from the Caribbean, started coming over there, because they get off at JFK Airport, and you know how people, they want to live close to transportation. So they got out of JFK Airport was the airport for international flights. So all the international flights and stuff, that was the hub for from a lot of those airports and stuff from the Caribbean. So people came there and they went to Brooklyn, that part of Queens, and they just stayed there.
Yes, sir. But It's funny also because here we are 40 years later, and unfortunately, my people still ain't woke up yet because they're worrying about the wrong damn things. Because now they're starting to get pushed out in Queens, but they're not gonna say nothing because pride and all that. Um, I'm not speaking for them because I just went on a rant last night about that. But they got problems on the island that they need to address. But I guess hip hop is like the thing that they're gonna put all their energy into. Fine, do that. You're gonna lose, but it's okay. Show us you got some fight. Your children gonna remember this. That's all I'm gonna say.
I got a question for you too, Kid. Like, if you guys don't know Kid Gravity, you should definitely subscribe to his channel on YouTube. But let me ask you a question, Kid, because you go in a lot on Jamaicans, and you are Jamaican. So, do they look at you as like a turncoat or a coon to them because you expose their lies?
I'm a Yankee because I wasn't born there, so my word should be non. It shouldn't even matter in their grand scheme. But the funny thing is y'all don't got nobody advocating for y'all online. So who else?
Now, I want y'all to remember what Racist said earlier because he touched on something that was very pertinent and very important to the conversation. Racist said that when these people, and I'm a preface my comments like this. When people come up here from these third world nations, they low key shit on or even forget about the people that live back in their nations. So when a person like Tariq has a space and he talks about their black grandmother or their black grandfather, they feel offended because it's like that person does not exist. Why are you bringing that person up? If you guys go to these islands, and I'm not talking about Jamaica. I'm talking about the Puerto Ricos, the Dominican Republics, the fucking Aruba. You guys go to these islands, the people are blacker than me and Raceable. But when their kin comes up here, they forget that their people are blacker than me and Raceable. Go to these islands, y'all. Don't take Sage's word for it. Go there and see how black these motherfuckers are. But then these people will come up here and talk about your blackness. Oh, you're so black. You guys, are monkeys or whatever the case is. Like they come up here and act like those people don't exist. Go there and see those people for yourself. And with that, I'm like,
Oh, real quick,
Hey, yo,
hold on,
Kid Gravity, you
brother. You
grew up in
permit real
Queens?
quick. If you don't mind, I want to ask a question.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
the
ahead.
brother Kid Graffiti, real quick, brother, and I'm gonna ask you a personal question if you don't mind. Are you first or second generational American?
Um, well, my grandparents came up here in the late '70s, early '80s, and then I was born in '85. So my parents came up here as teenagers. So I don't know. I guess you would consider it second, I guess, or me being
Okay.
the first one born
Yeah.
here.
Right. No, you would be first generation because you're
that'll
the
be
first one
first. That'll
born
be
there. Yeah,
first.
you'll be
Okay.
first. Now, I was
Okay.
just wondering. Now, the reason why I asked that, and I'll tell you exactly why I asked that because most.
Hmm.
Because let me tell you, so I respect the fact that you on code with us, brother. That's why I give you your flowers every time I get an opportunity to.
I
But
appreciate it.
yeah, and I appreciate you, brother, because we actually if we had 1,000 brothers like you, we could move for both of our people. We could move so much shit along. But anywho, the reason why I asked that question was because most brothers, and this goes across the diaspora, most brothers and sisters across the diaspora that came here pre the Immigration Act, particularly in the late 60s or early 70s, and any time before that, are usually on code. But I also understand the demographics that there was no incentive for any black immigrants to come here and be off code because you had to amalgamate yourself into our communities. So there was no Jamaica, there was no little Jamaica, no little Haiti, no little Cuba and things of these natures when you're talking about the 50s, 60s, and 70s. But it seems like once the immigrant enclaves was created, that second wave of immigrants, this is when the on coldness and the cooning starts. But not only, and I don't even like for that to be projected on our brothers and sisters that are on the island. I'm talking about the ones that come here. Not only that, we have to understand that even the dynamics of that the government is vetting these people that's coming here. That's one, and a lot of these immigrants that come here, they were turncoats to their own people back home, and which is why a lot of them don't go back home, because believe it or not, a lot of these people got hits on their families because they were in conclusion with the United States government undermining the people there. So that's why I asked you that question, brother. But I appreciate you for answering it.
Yeah, I hear you. But to touch on what you said, a lot of you got to understand back in them days, like the 80s, 90s, and even the early 2000s, if you spoke out against the government, you had to run or you would get your voice silenced. It's only now that you're starting to see more people start saying stuff because we'll just say they followed y'all's example. They ain't at that point. What you gonna do to me? What you gonna do to my family? The problem's still gonna be there. So it's either you address it now, we go work towards it, or you know, it's just gonna be pervasive. I mean, like I said, I went in on them Jamaicans last night because they worrying about hip hop, but down there, y'all still ain't got access to your beaches. Y'all talking about y'all gonna use taxpayer funds to upgrade beaches that are already there. What about the other 66 that you don't have access to? That's your birthright.
Yeah,
That's not fair. Go fight for
yeah, but
yours.
you know what, kid? Your kid Gravity, like race, appreciate you being 100% on this topic, because I have friends, if uh, that parents migrated over here from Jamaica back in the 70s. So that actually, you know, started out and moved to Queens and all that stuff. And and the thing about it is, this is something that I started to think and had a conversation with some of our other boys, is that when we start talking about slavery and what happened over here to us in this country, very rare that you hear people from the Caribbean express and or give their stories of how they were mistreated in slavery, and doing, with the Asians that was over there, the Indians, both dot heads and camel jockeys was over there that were mistreating their people too. So how many times have your folks really sat down and had conversations about how people in the Caribbean, black people in the Caribbean, were being mistreated? Because a lot of times when they come over here, it seems like, just like Rachel said, they want to forget about the horror over there, so they come here to run away, to leave that behind. So when we start telling our stories, they're like, we need to just move past that. But I never really hear now.
We know,
One of
brother.
my
I
boys,
need to
his
cut you off.
parent,
We know the answer to
yeah.
that. They them fools down there identify with their oppressor. They not go. I had to show my parents some stuff. They don't teach that stuff down there. They don't teach them about Tacky in Jamaica. They don't teach them about Nanny and the Maroons, even though she's a national hero. They don't do it. I heard a woman on the internet 2 years ago tell the purveyor of the program, they don't teach us Marcus Garvey. He's a national hero. He's not taught in your schools because they're afraid the next one's going to rise up.
So is that the reason why so many come over here, and then they just refuse to talk about anything that happened over there? Because a lot of them came over here, the younger ones, making it seem like they was eating peas and rice and jerk chicken every day, and it was all good, and they just come over here by choice.
They be lying,
And I
brother.
know that's not the fact.
Brothers and sisters in this room, they lie. I'm just going to say it. They lie. Because you know what it is? They really think that we don't know how the internet works. They think because they're on a small island, most people don't think about them, and you only really know what goes on there when people go on vacation. They think we can't look this stuff up. Like this dude tried to tell me that. The beach thing I just told you about was a lie. It was propaganda. My crowd and I last night literally sat and watched a 23-minute debate about that same topic, but that's on Jamaican TV. But I made that up. The government has articles trying to outline what's going on to try to inform the people. It got to Parliament, but I made that up. This has been going on for years. This law was on the
Question for you,
books.
brother.
This law was on the book before they became an independent nation. So when are you gonna fight?
Question for you, brother. If
Yeah.
they don't have access to their own beaches, who does?
Give me a favorite hotel company.
Marriott.
Marriott,
There you go. Keep going.
Hilton,
Yes, sir.
Hilton,
Keep going.
Hilton, Marriott.
IHG, which owns
Um,
Holiday Inn,
I IHG is actually
is a
is
conglomerate.
a very right. They own a lot of those
Hmm.
properties, and then you spin off to how many of those Indians that buy those franchises and run those spots through IHG.
Sandals,
Same shit here.
Sandals, RIU.
Yep.
I didn't even get to the cruise ship lines yet. That's who owns
Carnival,
most of that property.
Carnival,
Yeah, that's who owns it. The government comes in. They wanna. Let's say you have a cruise ship company. You want prime access to drop people off. Have their little excursions or whatever. Okay, they'll say it's like $100 million. They give you the check. The government takes their little cut out of it, put it in their pocket. You start building that up. Now here you go. You have Norwegian K or some bullshit, whatever they call it. The people ain't got no access now. Maybe a couple of the fishermen down there, they use that to go fish. Now they can't fish no more. The people use that for a little vacation spot on the weekend. Go down there to go in the water, chill out. Can't do that no more. You gotta pay a fee now. And they've been doing that since the '60s.
and the interesting thing that the thing that come in with these cash deals is immunity from law. So when you go
Hmm.
to a lot of these islands, when crimes happen or something happen to your ass, like you mysteriously disappear, is who's going to investigate?
It's not a coincidence that after them riots they had down in '65, it just got worse because that's when all the corporations started going down there. How many of them Jamaican riders left? And now Jamaica is a level
Eh, eh,
3 travel advisory. They tell you don't even go unless you got urgent business.
Or you stay in the confinements of
Yeah, don't
those
go out there at
resorts.
night.
That's
You
it.
know how much money Jamaica loses
Right.
every night because people don't go outside? That could help the
And
people.
it's you bring up a real good point. Both of y'all do because my cousin just came from Indonesia, and it's crazy on these resorts that you have the same actions going on by the locals. There's always people outside of resorts begging for begging for resources from the tourists. You feel what I'm saying? And it's actually dangerous outside of the resorts. So that's why I really am confused when a lot of people go into quote unquote vacation and claim that this is beautiful, but they actually see what's outside of the resort because they're there and nobody's mentioning that.
But here's the thing. This is another thing that the corporations did with these resorts. They know exactly where to go with their drivers. That's why when you get there, they ask you, "Hey, do you want to go to the Sangster distillery? Do you want to go to the Marley House and their little compound over there? Do you want to go do this excursion at Dunn's River?" They ain't gonna take them in town because then they don't want to be responsible if something happens there. I had the last time my wife and I went, I had to force the driver to take us into town because I wanted to spend money with the people. And he was like, "Nah,
And
it's
also
dangerous,
too,
boy. We can't do that." I'm like, "Listen, take this $50 and take us into town." And he took it, and we went there,
And
and the
also,
people were happy that I was there spending money. Especially, I put like $200 in the youth pocket.
but you know what else too? If you get caught up in them mountains and shit, because my wife, she had a second cousin. They went to Jamaica. This is years ago, and they couldn't find her body. This is how ruthless people were over there. And when they told, she found some dude, you young, all right, let me just meet dude over here. And they the police didn't give a fuck. Didn't find a body.
They might have
Nothing.
killed if she was British. Now I want y'all to listen to that
Right.
statement
If
I
she's
just
British.
said.
Yeah, if she was British, yeah, it'd be a different story.
Hmm.
But and that but also if you go out to the mountains, and plus a lot of people claiming they're from Kingston, uh, and if you but they're really not. They from, if you tell a Jamaican, and maybe kid, you can co-sign on this a little bit. If you tell them they from Bush, they get
Oh,
mad at you.
what? Or up in the mountains? You basically call them stupid.
You tell a Jamaican, man, you from Kings, you from Bush. Yeah, you from Bush. That shit's derogatory to them.
Hmm. And that's when the machete comes out.
Right.
Unless you're white, then they'll do a dance for you.
Damn.
They better wake up, boy, because right now Guyana's whooping their ass right now. They better wake up.
What's up, Miss
What's up,
D?
Miss D?
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I wanted to talk about what he just said because when I went to Jamaica, the same thing happened. That was my first time ever going, and I was shocked that those foreigners had put up shops right across from the resort. It like pissed me off when I walked in there and I saw who was behind the counter and who was the owner. Since that was my first time, I wasn't expecting to see that, across the street. And that was so convenient for everybody to walk from the resort right across the street to spend all the money in there with those Arabs or whatever they was. And
They call them coolies, for reference.
okay,
Yeah, cool. It's like Super Cat,
yep, I don't know the
Sean
difference.
Paul.
Kamala
I
Harris.
call them I call them the towel people.
Yep.
I don't know what they is. And I was really mad because like you could see big influx of people going across the street all day. Well, it took us a long time to get dressed and leave the resort and go. But when I went over there, like I was like, what? The driver took us across the street to there, and I said, no. I said, we told you that we wanted to go spend our money with the locals. What did you bring us over here for? So me and him had got into it. I say, I don't want to spend my money with them. I want to go and spend my money with the locals. Because a friend of mine told me to make sure I go into town. But they should explain to me why he was saying make sure I go into town, because they had the results full of those Indian people or whatever they is across the street. So he said, well, I said, so he was like adamant not to take, because I said, you must be getting paid by these people you must be getting some money by taking us across the street because we asked you to take us somewhere else. I don't want to spend my money. He said, well, I promise I'm going to take y'all when we leave here. I'm going to take y'all. So that's when I told him, oh, you must be getting paid. So I didn't spend my money there. I say, y'all can spend y'all money here. I don't want to spend my money. I'm waiting until we leave and go spend money with the locals. So he finally, after me badgering him for about 15 minutes, he finally took us down the locals, and oh my God, we couldn't even get out the car. They surrounded the whole van. I was like, what is going on? The people that have the little shops down there, they surround your vans, won't even let you get out to try to drag you to go spend money with them. to spend money at their place. I was like, y'all got to calm down, because it was kind of scaring me. Like they was grabbing our arms and stuff. And I was like, stop pulling on me. I said, y'all need to calm down. So by the time I got a few of them calmed down, I went to go in this lady's shop and I said, I have enough money. I'm going to try to spend money with a little money with all of you guys. It's so many, but I was talking about in that little perimeter. I said, I brought enough money to spend money with all of you guys. Just like, calm down. So when we walked into this one lady, was about to walk into this one lady thing, the lady next door to her grabbed me. When she grabbed me, the other lady, while I was going in, she grabbed her and they were about to fight. And that's what really pissed me off. And I say, y'all are sisters. Like y'all both in the same rut. It does not make sense that you want to fight her over me going in there when I just told you I'm gonna leave out of here and come next door. Like that shit pissed me off. And I told her, just for you doing that, I'm not coming in your store. I'm gonna bypass you and go to the next door, because you do not fight your sister. This is your sister. I just told you I was gonna come to your shop too. So when I left out of there, and just in my heart, I just couldn't do it. I just gave her some money and just kept going. I said, and it was one old lady. This lady was like 70 something years old. She was sitting down on a rock. I guess her time had passed from fighting and surrounding the cars and all that stuff. But she was just sitting on a rock, just as calm, weaving a fan. And I went, sat down on the rock with her and I talked to her, and she told me a lot about Jamaica. Really nice, pleasant lady. And I spent my money with her. I spent all my money with her, and I went, got the rest of my friends that was with me, and I sat there, and that's where we spent our money at. But he's right. They didn't want us to take us to other places that we wanted to go. They just told us that they was going to take us to tourist spots. And this was in 2019. I don't know why they was all standing in the road with guns. That kind of frightened me too. They was all standing, when we come down the road, they all standing in the road with guns, telling us certain places we couldn't turn. It wasn't a good experience when we left off the resort. But I do know they wouldn't let nobody come on the resort. We had to always show our band before we got out the car. We couldn't get out the car without showing our band, because you can't go on the resort. That was kind of funny to me. But then I found out a lot of things why. Some of the local guys that work at the resort told us why it was strict. My last thing, and I'm going to land. Now this was on the resort. I went in the gift shop on the resort because I passed by and seen some bamboo purses that I want to get my daughter, and they were 4 different colors, and that was exactly what I needed. I went in the resort gift shop. And when I went to get my money, I set my phone down on the counter, and the lady behind the counter like spazzed out on me. No, no, no. Don't ever sit your phone down. Don't sit your phone down. Don't ever sit your cell phone down anywhere. I was like, what? I was like, why? And she was like, cell phones are really not here, and people will take your cell phone and steal your cell phone. She kind of like really, really spazzed out, and told me, promising her that I would never do that again while I'm in Jamaica, sit my phones down. And that was crazy to me. And I was like, well, I'm in the resort, so the only person can steal it is the people that work here. She was saying, I just don't want you to get used to it. Don't ever set your phone down in Jamaica. What's that all about?
Because the especially with the iPhones, those are a big commodity down there. That's like a status symbol down there. Because they get their phones like a year behind we get ours, unless you got a connection up here or in England or something. So most times they'll steal it and then they'll just sell it.
Yeah, she like, she didn't go into it. She just told me to make sure, I promise I won't I won't do that again. I won't sit my cell phone down anywhere. She didn't go into it, I guess, because she worked there. But she just made me promise her that before I left out of that, I won't sit the phone down anywhere. And then I met another lady, and she told me, she said another Jamaican lady, she said she's not from Kingston, but when she went to Kingston with this guy that she's supposed to be married to, and she said that he was walking way up in front of her, and she said, she knows what go on out there. She was asking him, why you walking in front of me like that instead of on the side of me, because he lives in Kingston. And she said, he said, I can see you from me walking in front of you. And she said somebody came up from behind her and snatched her necklace off and dragged her like backwards to the ground, because she was telling me, like, if I leave off the resort, like, take my jewelry off, depending on, take my necklace off, because I had a Rolex pendant, like necklace with a pendant, and she said depending on where I go, she said for me to take my necklace. She said they snatched it off from the back, and she was asking the lady on the corner that was selling stuff, why didn't she help her when the guy did her like that? And the lady told her, I have to live here, I can't help you. I was like, wow.
Yeah, and Fama for dead.
Huh?
That's what they call it. Informers die. If she'd have helped you, she would have been there the
Yeah.
next day.
Wow. Because see, she's Jamaican, but she moved to Toronto. But she says she's not from Kingston. And she told me if I go to Kingston, she told me to just make sure I watch myself and be careful, because it can be very dangerous in
Yeah,
Kingston.
they even tell you females do not take your purse with you.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, just take your money out, leave it in the hotel safe. Make sure you change the code before you leave, because that's what me and my wife do every time we go to a hotel. We change the code every day because I don't trust the motherfucker. But only
Yeah, now
carry
I
only
did
carry
do
enough
that.
cash just
I
in case
did do
something
that.
happens. There you go. And don't wear any jewelry. You basically gotta look like a local when you there. That's
Yes, I
basically the
was
rule.
just with
Hey,
them.
yo, Kid Gravity, do they?
I guess I was just with some clucks, because they go every year. See, they didn't tell me nothing about not carrying my purse. They didn't tell me not to wear my jewelry. I took it off once the lady from Jamaica told me to take it off. That is
Yeah,
crazy. The only thing I
yeah,
did that you said was I changed the code every day.
yeah. Because I don't trust them workers. Because them workers, most people don't even know, they don't even get paid. So they
Oh,
like to rob
wow.
them.
Hey, yo, Kid Gravity, do they still have CIN news that used to broadcast on PBS in New York?
You mean CVM?
No, CIN.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah. Oh, Caribbean.
CIN news?
Damn, I ain't been in New York in a minute. Maybe. I maybe because I grew up watching that. I don't know because I know what was it? Channel 21 used to put it in New York. They used to play it on Sundays. But I know. But
Right.
now, like I told them Jamaicans, listen, TVJ and CVF, y'all two biggest news channels. They're fucking on the internet now. So them lies you try to tell us, I can go fact check you in real time with your people's own words. That's how we found out that the Supreme Court Justice, Miss Ketanji Brown Jackson, is a Jamaican. So I don't need y'all lying on what's going on the island where we could find it in 5 minutes. But it goes back to what I said before with the slavery thing. They look at that like a badge of honor. They ain't got no shame.
I just want to thank everybody for coming to this space. I'm going to be ending it now. I just want to say if anyone has any closing comments, go ahead and say what you would like to say right now.
Jamaica, stop dancing for everything and get serious.
Yeah, and
We
I
get
think
it. The
this is
KFC is better down there. It's not going to bring you into the future.
There it is. There it is. And I was just gonna say, I gotta roll and put this kid to sleep before his
What I
mama
never
wake up.
understood
It's
was
perfect
having
timing.
such passion for something while running from it at the same time. You can't be passionate, about Jamaica and then run from it at the same time.
Yeah, and start protecting them women down there because they being slaughtered. They being slaughtered, and yeah, that's the last thing I want to say. Thanks for the space. Thanks, Nikki, Average, and thanks everybody for their input. Miss D, always. I'll see y'all later.
Absolutely. Got up to
And I
150
want to say,
people
I
in
did
this
not know
early
that
morning, Nick.
Katanji Brown Jackson was Jamaican, so I learned something new today. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, Nikki, you got up to 150 people at one point in this space. Good job. And
We
the
did.
conversation.
Everybody. This is everybody's space.
Yes, yes, ma'am. And the space stayed on some really cool vibes and energy. This was a delineated space. We're starting to see more and more of those. It's going to happen digitally first before it hits the streets. And that's what we love. You know what I'm saying? We get to keep building and all of that, and I love it. Had a conversation earlier today about, how there's certain mess and foolishness. And I was like, not so much in spaces that I like to have go serious, and Nikki even more so. And this is an example of that. And the person did give me my flowers, by the way. But yeah, we can have more spaces like this with like-minded individuals that just want to build, share ideas, and want to move forward with our people. I love it. I thank everybody for contributing. Thank you so much. And also, I thank everybody who listened, gave us your beautiful energy and your time, gave us your ear. I appreciate you so much for that because you could have been anywhere doing anything and you spent time with your family. So thank you. Also, support Black owned businesses and pursue Black American families, nuclear Black American families, because they are the engine, the most common engine that makes positive Black people. You know what I'm saying? Positive, well-to-do, productive Black people, a Black man and a Black woman in unison, raising those children together. And lastly, I want to say you guys are like my family because I got more in common with you than I do a lot of my blood because we think the same and want the same things. Anybody else? Go ahead and cook.
I just want to add this in there. I believe possibly on Friday, we're probably going to have a space open to build more funds for the rally. So please definitely join. The space most likely will be put together by me or Black Alpha or Alpha Elite. We're definitely going to do a space about we're going to try to raise more funds and awareness for the rally that's coming up in DC. Please join. And Nikki and Average and Racer, please be a part of that. Brother Marco, please come and be a part of that space as well too. When we do that one, bro.
Definitely, I support that 100%.
For sure, kid. I'll definitely be there. I mean, Sage, yeah, definitely I'll be there.
With that being said, peace out, everyone.